What is up, Entree fam? Welcome to the Friday Live Helpcast with your hostess, the mostess, Gladney, and I'm super pumped and excited, as I always am, to be here before you to help you with your questions and your concerns when it comes to video content marketing. So, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. So, hope you guys have had a fantastic week. Hope that you all are doing well. So, as per usual, if you guys have any questions, concerns, or what have you, can go to the bubble right there. Click on, well, you actually can't click on the bubble. I wish you could, but you can't. But you can go to Dyna.link/join if you want to hop on live and get your questions answered and ask them so I can answer them. That kind of a thing. So hopefully you guys are doing great and having a wonderful day. So a lot of things happened this past week, as we talked about previously. The week before, I guess this month is just Tech October, if you will. It's been a lot of fun, really interesting, really amazing just to be able to see some of the technology, gear, and equipment that has come out as of recent, and just see how we can start using these tools in our businesses, in our companies, to really start getting just make things easier. I think that's one of the things, like in trying out like the Google Pixel 5, the Google Pixel 4a, comparing that, with my iPhone 7, and just picked up the iPhone 11, and just testing out the different things. It's interesting to see how over a short amount of time you can have a lot of changes and a lot of cool things happen with tech. So I'm freaking amazed with this Google Pixel 5. It is mind-blowingly good when it comes to, like, the camera it makes the bee's knees Hall of Fame for smartphones that I've seen. As far as the videos, I'll have to see, even if anybody I know gets the iPhone 12 or the 12 Pro or something like that, and just kind of see if I can put that head to head. And I bought some accessories. It was some things I thought I would be able to do earlier this week when it comes to using this as a live streaming camera, because you can actually live stream from your phone using Filmic Pro, which is an app that's available on Android and for iPhones or iOS devices. And you have to buy it. So like if you are somebody like me at the moment that has both systems for whatever reason, then like that's the thing. Like, you, for the Filmic Pro app, unfortunately you would need to buy it for the Android and then buy it again for the iOS device. But me being a content creator and video being my deal, then that's, why it's okay. It's fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't buy apps for video because I have my interest with cameras. Speaking of which, I also tested out, or am testing out, I'll put it that way. If you guys saw on Amazon, the HDMI capture cards that, if you follow me on Instagram, then you would have saw my little unboxing of sorts or whatnot that is running for about $20. So this one right here specifically, or it changes, I think, from the sponsored one, so not that one specifically. But actually I need, hold on, because I need to do something real quick. But so I can pull up what I need to and hashtag all the things. But yeah, so let me make sure. If I can find it, because the name, I guess, changes for the Who. It's really just a generic device. However, it is where you can see here. I can't find it specifically, but it's the same thing, just a different private label brand. So even now, like, you get this for $15.30, which I got mine for $14, I think it was. But you'll just see that HDMI video capture. And so, like, you'll see one sponsored. They're all the same device. It is just a private label. So maybe, it's like if you go to Alibaba or AliExpress or anything like that, then you'll be able to see the specific brand. However, the point being, camera over here, we are using this. Now, I did notice that there is a slight delay. So the audio may be off because when I'm over here on the cam link, and it does look different because I'm testing quite a bit today, testing a LUT using a different picture profile and some other stuff, with all of this done within Ecamm Live. But the camera has to have some kind of a log footage, so I'm testing S-Log2, I think it is. So that's on my main camera, the A6400 right now. And then I went ahead and just did I think I'm in neutral over here on this cheap capture card. other than adjusting the audio, which I could also do using Ecamm Live, I would need to test that out. So I can't hear myself, like, which I could, but I would need to like record and actually do the test to see what the delay is. I think somebody told me it's like 43 milliseconds. So maybe about a frame or two, depending on the what. I tested it using inside of, like how sometimes you'll get, which I have two plugged in right now. So too much tech stuff floating around the office. But I used a little USB dongle thing, like, because if you are on a Mac or any computer now, it has USB-C, and everything we own is USB everything else. And so I tested it earlier, plugged it straight into the computer, tested it with the adapter, and so it's fine. It's the same either way. The quality is not impacted. I'm actually not even streaming at the highest that it could do, which I'm seeing it can do something close to a 2.5K type of in a USB 2.0. So it's debatable as far as that. But as far as the audio, it's just a little bit of an audio delay, I think, depending on, and you guys can let me know in the chat, depending on if you're seeing any kind of audio delay. You probably are, maybe, I'm not sure. And it may just be a frame or two off. But what I would do is go into Ecamm Live and adjust it. But I'm not going to, because I'm not trying to mess up the sync, which is set up for the main camera and the microphone. So that's the only thing with that. Otherwise, if I had the one camera, like most normal people do, if I had the one camera, the one $15 capture card, which is over here, which again, HDMI video capture, it's the same. You're even having some other brands come out with a capture card that looks like this, but this is base technology essentially. And I must be honest, I am quite perturbed. Okay, quite pretty freaking perturbed that the Elgato Cam Links was selling as high as they were, if that's all that it takes for the technology to convert the signal, because this is just using a kit lens, the A6600, because there's also a thing when it comes to color shifts within lenses. So if I put the Sigma on there, it'll look better, obviously. But I was trying out my Sony 16 millimeter that I was using earlier this week, 35 millimeter. And all lenses tend to have a little bit of a characteristic. And so I just wanted to go start at base level, kit lens, nothing special, not graded. I think I'm either in standard or neutral, because I was flipping, so I don't remember the exact. I think it's probably at standard or so, maybe neutral. But I could adjust that color and stuff like that in Ecamm Live, which makes it very nice to be able to do that. So I'm thankful for the camera tools that we have in Ecamm Live, so I could adjust it. But that's the thing. So you can see the side by side. This is what I have. This camera on your wait. Okay, so it's my left. It should be still your left. So I'm just gonna say what it is for me, even though my hands are going, looks like a different way. Whatever. I'm putting my hands down, and I'm just gonna say my left, your right. It should be the same way. Still to the left, the image that you're seeing. I almost did something stupid, which is raise my hand and say the image that shows my hand raised. I haven't drank enough coffee yet, so mind your business. The one that's straight on, okay, the one I'm looking at now, that's the A6400 Sigma 16 millimeter lens. It's using a LUT, color graded a little bit, and all kinds of stuff. The one over here is using the cheap capture card. It's $15. I got it for $15 or maybe $20 at the most, depending on what private label brand you buy it through. That's or store on Amazon. But the fact is, this is amazing to me. The fact that Elgato Cam Links was going for so much. I think I even paid before, like years ago, for the HD version, maybe like $199 or something like that. So the fact that you now can have this for $15 or $20, I'm super happy. But I'm kind of perturbed. Like, now if it costs you $4 to make this thing, where we all know they get made overseas, then, and it's, that's one hell. I mean, even with fees of what it takes to ship, that's one hell of an upcharge. So the fact that I'm testing these out, I'm thinking about, because I'm right at, I think at 9,000 now for subscribers. I'm doing the 10K giveaway. I may just buy a couple of these and give some of these away, which is at a loss at that point. But it's just the idea, which I'm still thinking of all the stuff to give away. But either way, I just wanted to share. So a little here, a little there when it comes to the whatnots, and somebody's playing their music extremely loud, and the music sucks. It'd be one thing if it was good music. The music sucks. So we got Chocolate Twist Yoga in the house. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Shalice saying, I love Techtober, as am I. I love it as well. It is a very wallet conscious month. I'll put it that way. Shalice saying, yes, Filmic Pro is that deal. I've loved using it. I'm still getting used to it. But I must say that thing is amazing. Chocolate Twist said, so how is it working with the phone outside of the Apple ecosystem? I so want to leave my iPhone in the dust. So the difference between, and y'all mind your business on this one. So I'm working with 4 phones currently. My iPhone 7, the iPhone 7, the Google Pixel 4a. Hopefully they aren't listening. And then bigger phones right now, which is what I'm testing. Google Pixel 5 and then the iPhone 11. I did 3 straight days after switching, which is from last week and then a couple days before that. So maybe more than 3 days, but a solid close to almost a week maybe using this. I love this phone, and I'm not saying it just because they gave it to me. If it sucked, I have no problem saying that it sucked. The only thing that sucks about it is that it doesn't have, it's not the Apple-y things that I'm used to. So like the AirDrop, and everybody's like, oh, Google Drive, oh, whatever. It's different. Like it's a whole nother different world when you're talking about like an iPhone ecosystem versus the just Android, no matter who it is, but specifically the Pixel. It's just, I mean, like if I could convert a few things to just only being with Apple, I wouldn't have no qualms about, fully leaving them. But in testing for it and switching for a few days and using it for my main phone, it's hard not to have those same comforts that I do with my iPhone. Being that, so if I'm texting a friend and I can see the little bubbles starting to show up or whatever, it's little things. So that's a comfort thing. Being able to have reactions like the hearted message or different stuff like that, that's only an Apple thing. That, it's like, so you miss those little things, but you're willing to give it up. What made me have to go back to my iPhone is like when I have interviews and I have stuff scheduled, which I actively use Google products already. And even before I got an iPhone a couple years ago, I already was doing it. However, when it comes to the workflow and the systems and efficiencies that I have now, it's a few, like stuff like with AirDrop. Things like me being able to start typing a message on my phone, copy that, and then go to my computer and paste it, literally as if it's one brain. That kind of a stuff is what made me have to go back to my iPhone, but I'm still carrying the Google, pretty much using it for just about everything else. And trying to just see like, and unfortunately, it's like, it's not something that I personally could use for my business, simply because every time, like throughout the week, and I get the whole getting used to it, but I'm not so ingrained in Apple that I'm not used to Android phones or something like that. I'm not new to it. Haven't always bought Apple, only been with them for like 2 years. Only thing is that now when I'm getting ready to do something, I have to stop and think of a way to do what is already a system and a process that I have with the iPhone. So unfortunately, that's the only thing. So when I make a video and I do something I want to do for Instagram stories, or I make a Instagram reel, and I'm done editing it, I AirDrop it. AirDrop is so much, it's so much faster than with Google Drive, Dropbox, anything else. There literally is nothing else. And the fact that one brain system, I start typing a note, even though I use Google Notes, I use Apple Notes as well. But I use them differently. So converting everything over, I did the whole full transfer. Only thing is just like those efficiencies hindered me. And if there was a way to make them play well together between my phone and my computer, like Apple has with their system, I wouldn't have a problem being fully Android. No problem, whatever. Only thing that concerns me with Android phones in general, it's not a Pixel thing, but just in general, is the those efficiencies. And I wonder if long term, I found with Android phones, this is my first time having a Google phone, Android phones in general, Samsung, doesn't matter who else. It's like they die. You can't get 2 solid years without running into some problems. And y'all can share your experiences with me if you have been an iPhone user for a long time. But it's like I'm not leaving my iPhone 7 because it's something wrong with it. Hell, I bought the thing used and it was already a few years old. It's because I don't need it for anything special. I don't really do anything with my phone. Talk, text, email, workflow systems, and efficiencies. That's all I needed. So the fact now I'm seeing other stuff, but the camera app and all that stuff, it shuts everybody else down. So my thoughts on it. Shalice saying the camera stuff, it said it's not that noticeable on my end, saying it looks good. Appreciate that. Faith House saying upcharge. Yes. So like the difference between, like I was sharing this system over here, like even at the max, like this person is saying they're going to charge it for $30. It's literally the same thing. It's literally the same device. It's just a different brand, which again, if you go to Alibaba or AliExpress, you could buy these in bulk, create your own Amazon store, set up your own private label company. And this is all that this is, as it is with most knockoff cheap microphones and stuff, and literally most stuff on Amazon like that, and have your own little thing. But the fact that like the Cam Links is like $199 and people were mid-pandemic selling it for like $300, and it's just like, and some people was buying it because they needed it, and now it's just like $15 to $20. Upcharge is right. Real estate, real talk with Sesta. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying, what USB mic would you recommend? There are some great USB microphone actually. If you want to check some out, I like Audio Technica a lot. I like the Samson brand, not Samsung, but Samson, Samson. That's what I use, and I've been using this mic for about 2 years. This one, I have the Audio Technica ATR 2100. They also have the 2100X, which is new. But Samson is the one I go to because typically you're probably going to mostly use it for USB. So you can have it easily connected to your computer and stuff like that. But if you're a speaker, you do any kind of events, or will be next year, getting back into that, you can have your own microphone, or you can have your own stuff for on the go, and I like it. So like the price on these has fluctuated some when it comes to recently, but right now they're about $84, $86 before the pandemic. These were going for about $54 on Amazon, and they're amazing microphones. You see this one going for $79, but this one is an amazing one because it is USB as well as XLR. So like I said, it has this same port at the bottom here, those 3 pins. So you literally could hook up to any professional audio system and have it work. You can have this USB, older model, square looking one. I think it's USB type. I don't know what it's called, but whatever it is, type B something maybe. Headphone jack on there as well. In addition to being able to control the audio levels. In several of my videos, if you see me talking, doing a piece to camera, and it's like this, like that video I did on the M50, I had my this microphone right here, but not plugged in via XLR, still running it via USB for power, but plugged in directly, sending that audio from the headphone port to the camera. And so I like that because I like flexibility and options. There's a base level way to use it. There's a more, better quality, if you will, slightly XLR. If you want to do that, and maybe using the Rodecaster Pro or something like that. Or if you just want to flex it and play around with some stuff. I like microphones like that that are great so that you're not only stuck with USB, or you're not only stuck with XLR. You have options. The other one is this Audio Technica. Let's just go. It's the AT2020. They have some other ones as well. 2100 actually. Dang, hitting the wrong button. 2100. They have a 2005. So any of these specific ones are very similar. In the same way, it also is USB. It also is XLR. A little bit higher price, but there's quality difference, not a whole lot. But again, you have flexibility. Now, here's one that doesn't get talked about a lot. It was a model that came out before the 2100. Is really no differences between it. It's just a shape difference, if you will, button difference, if you will. So just a different variation, but it's the same thing. And this is the AT2005. That's also by Audio Technica. And as you can see, it's the same USB, XLR, headphone jack, and the rocker is on the bottom instead of having buttons on the top. And then there's a slider for the on and off. So I like that design a little bit better than these little nubs that stick out. It's just a little bit, but it's enough to be annoying at times. And my original ATR 2100 broke. The switch broke. They're great. They sent it back within a week, which was phenomenal. Fixed it for no charge. It was no hassle with Audio Technica, so I can at least speak to their customer service. But I just like the design better because it's flat, so it's flush. So that's what I would say for that. Those are my favorite. Debut Guitar saying hi all. Hi, Miss Gladney. Good to see you, Debut Guitar. Glad that you are here. Saying my first live, love your content. Well, welcome to the live stream. There's a buffet over to the left if you would like steak and potatoes. There's also a salad bar. I'm just kidding. Good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. Debut Guitar saying I switched to iPhone because all my friends send me videos and it's so much easier to watch. Well, I mean, like that kind of a thing, it felt so weird. A lot of my close friends have iPhones. And so the FaceTimes, like again, if my friend is having an issue or something, or like if I'm having an issue, and just to be able to hit that button and FaceTime. Yeah, there's Google Duo, but the native built-in stuff, because I'll oftentimes have do not disturb set between certain blocks of time, so I'm not being interrupted by my phone. However, if I'm at a point to where I'm like, I want to let those through, if I'm on the computer, I can get the ring to either the phone or to my computer, and the same footage that you're looking at now for FaceTime, like for this camera, I can use it for FaceTime. And so I'm already here. If I just finished the stream and I get a call from a friend, it's just like I can answer it and use the same exact setup, microphone and everything. But I'm taking a call or I'm texting. That was another thing. So like getting messages from friends or having conversations during times when I'm working, I had to stop and go to the Android, the actual specific phone, and stop, like come away from the computer to send a text message or choose not to text at all. Whereas on the computer, again, that one brain type system, like I can get my text messages on my computer and just continue the conversation there without having to worry about where my phone is or whatever. So that kind of stuff worked for me. I just like it. Real estate, real talk with Sesta saying your sound, the microphone sounds very good. So yes, and this is just USB. People ask me if I'm doing anything for, are you using any kind of process or what apps are you using? I keep my stuff very simple. You can have a lot of stuff going when it comes to your live streams and sound effects and all kinds of stuff. I'm not doing all that. I don't have time to be doing all that kind of stuff. Like seriously. Because I want to, just like I took a business call earlier, so I'm on Skype, and then when I'm done with Skype, had a few minutes to clear some stuff up on the desk and get this set up, test a few things, but more or less that was already ready to go, and I'm functioning, ready to go. I don't have to, I just don't want that kind of stuff personally, but so I keep my stuff simple. Camera is exactly what you see. The microphone is exactly what you see, unless I'm testing and doing something like this. All the other live streams, for the most part, using a standard picture profile out of these Sony cameras, nothing's changed, more or less, unless I tweak something like the brightness or maybe the saturation slightly. If it's running a little too warm, depending on what the sun does and affects the temperature in the room. But that's about it. I don't do a whole bunch of stuff. Beards and banjos, I like that name, saying what kind of backlights do you have? RGB? So no, one of these right here is honestly just a regular bicolored LED, and it has a gel film over it. So I used to have a piece on my desk, but I don't. But it's just those film gels that you see, get them for like maybe $10. That filmmakers would use kind of before the RGB days of it being a reasonable price. And you could just kind of have that over the light, and that is giving you that cast of light. So that's still using a colored gel, because I wanted to see if I wanted to even invest in RGB lights probably like a year or so ago. And then this other light over here is just like one of those IKEA lights that they have, just a little disc that you have. I can turn it on, I can turn it off. And it doesn't have the full spectrum of light, and they have different variations, so I can hit the button and change it. And so now you see it's going to kind of like purple, and it does have regular lighting. So if you just wanted to use it as a regular reading light or room light, you can. But I just use it for that. And so that was probably like $30 at IKEA. And that's the most that's going on back there. I do have an RGB light. It's just, again, I'm all for simplicity, and that's my setup. So Mo Nicole saying hello everyone. Good to see you, Mo. Glad that you're here. Please thumbs up the live stream if you're London. That's what I'm talking about. Daggone it, you get a car. If I was Oprah, I'd send you one in the mail. Don't know how you would do that, but it'd be possible. But I appreciate that. Doc Rock saying aloha all. Good to see you, Doc. Glad that you are here. Doc Rock saying, Miss D, did you tell the folks about the new Ecamm pricing? We have not covered Ecamm yet, and I think some of that, Doc, is supposed to not come out for a time, but we'll see. But there are some changes being made, but no, I wasn't prepared to talk about that, and you're not going to make me talk about it. So I'm answering questions today. I'm not doing brand topics today. So if they have them, then we'll see. We have a question here. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying hi. Hi. Don't know if you want to be close to the mic. What are the choice, please? Okay. So if you are, because I do notice for some people, they're like, I don't want the microphone in the shot. I don't want people to be able to see it, kind of a thing. These kind of microphones are for this. They're for close range. You can kind of see, I can't even do like the call me little symbol or for Doc Aloha kind of stuff, but like it's no distance at all. And these are built for this. They're for close range talking, podcasting, streaming, newscasting, stuff like this. So these kind of microphones, if you have a mic like this and it's not in the shot, your audio is going to sound like crap and mostly sound like room noise. But if you want to get around that, then you just want to get like a shotgun microphone that is a one that you would see mostly vloggers using or something like that. And you put it on a mic stand, or you can get a friction arm so that it's angled. I actually have one over here. So I didn't clear this off the desk. Do not drop anything. All right, so let's tighten this up a little bit so it's not so wonky. But you can get a friction arm like this, angle it, depending on how your setup is, distance and all that stuff. This is about 11-inch friction arm. I just have my phone holder and stuff on here. But you can clamp this to your tripod, have this friction so it's right out of the shot. So if this was the microphone, I'd have it down here so you can't see it, or I would have it up here so you can't see it. But the proximity is still close, but it's out of range. So you can use a friction arm like this. You get a mic stand, stuff like that. But you would want, at that point, a shotgun microphone, something like this here. So that way, you're getting close audio. The audio would still be clean, but this microphone is built for still close proximity sound, but you don't have to more or less have it this kind of a close setup. So you would have it, again, still kind of right out of the shot. See, it's here and angled here, but it's still close enough for the range for this microphone to do a good job. There are a lot of other ones. If you have any kind of, again, microphone that you're using for vlogging or something like that, you can use that kind of setup, and then you don't have to have one, and that still works for basic, simple live stream setups. So you got the Rode NTG, all of that stuff, it will work, or even clamping it onto your computer if that's what you want. It just depends on the kind of microphone that you have. Some people do have a problem, like I said, with the microphones being in the shot. I am not one of those people, because I use this for my podcast, for the Video Simplified podcast. I use it for these live streams. I have noise, it seems like constantly, from whether it's somebody outside, and I'm hearing that. If it's an airplane or a jet plane, mostly if they're testing for like military jets or doing whatever aerial freaking trainings that they do, I don't want to hear that, so this rejects noise far better than something like this. But you can get what's called a super cardioid. Let's actually pull that up on Amazon. Super cardioid, which is the pickup pattern microphone. And real quick, while I'm on that, because I know that language is probably throwing some of you guys off, so let's go over to the great Google.com, and I'll show you what that super cardioid pickup pattern looks like. So if we take a look, actually, I like this graphic. So let's go over to the great Googles. All right, so if you take a look, you'll see here, depending on what your setup is, will determine the kind of microphone pickup pattern that you're getting. Actually, let's go up to this one. So we're looking at this graph. Omnidirectional, which is important for the kind of microphone that you buy. Omnidirectional is picking up all the stuff around you. So that's why we don't want these for podcasting. We don't want those for whatever. Bidirectional is one of the functions and features that you'll see in those Blue Yetis, which is why you'll see them sitting in the middle of two people talking, and both people can be heard well, but it's rejecting the noise on the side. Supercardioid is a little bit bigger. Cardioid, which is what this one is, which is why it's so close, and it's dynamic microphone. That's other stuff we're not going to get into, but you see it's only going to pick up me, like around the size of my head, and that's about it. And for the most part, reject other kinds of noise. Shotgun microphones, as you can see, picks up a little bit from the back. As long as you don't have somebody maybe living above you, kind of a deal, then you should be fine. But you can see that audio would be straight and specific to just you talking, and that's why you would want it that close. So you can get you a shotgun microphone like that. This one is the Movo VXR10. This is about $30. But you get one of those, pick whichever ones you want on Amazon, kind of a deal. That sounds good, and there you're off to the races. So that's why you notice the difference in where people have the mics placed. It depends on the internals of the mic and things like that. JFK Productions, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying hi. Glad I was able to watch. This quick question: did you test the EOS webcam utility? Did you experience lag? No, I did not, because I don't have the Canon M50 any longer. My nephew has been long-term borrowing it for about 2 months now. So even if I downloaded it, it wouldn't, I think I did it for the PC, but even my old computer was not enough to test for quality and lag. And to be honest with you, at the time when it came out, it was only at like 560p, which is not, it's less than 720p HD quality, which is like a 2012 television quality back then. But no, I didn't test it. And if you're experiencing lag is like, you can have some stuff like I was showing earlier, this camera over here. There is some delay, a little bit, potentially. I don't know what the audio lag would be, but I only introduced one new thing, being the device. So it wouldn't be Ecamm Live at that point that's introducing lag. It's the one simple thing that I changed. I've used this camera and this lens for live streaming before, and I've used this microphone before. None of those components introduce lag. However, there is a lag, kind of a deal, like if I'm snapping my hand, you might be able to see it a little bit better. Depends on what your end is. Again, I'm testing this new today, but this is the only thing that's new, is that little $15, $20 capture card. So the lag, in essence, delay is not coming from any of the system processes. It's solely coming from that one singular device that I now need to make changes for. So when you're introducing something new to your systems, your computers, or whatever, if you tested everything before and you weren't having any kind of lags or needing to deal with audio delays, you've now introduced a new component, so you need to see what kind of issues that is, or if everything was fine and this is the only new thing that you're introducing, is now understand, like, are you overworking your computer potentially, or what the deal is. So it's kind of one of those scenarios. So I would see, based on that. But no, I did test it because the quality was trash anyway. And I'm saying trash because I didn't like it, but it was not what it should have been. I guess at base level, godly, it's like we be begging Canon to do simple stuff. It's like it should have been 1080p though, but it wasn't. So it's kind of hard to judge that, because a lower quality image tends to look really, really bad. Like if you look at this live stream, is at least in 1080p. If you go to the little gear wheel that I think it should be maybe over here at the bottom, and you click on that and you drop the resolution from HD to 480p or 122p or something like that, it starts looking out of focus. It starts looking weird. So if you put that at like 480p versus what it looks like now, you'll be able to see what that difference is for what that Canon software was doing. And it's just like, I didn't want to recommend something that honestly at the time kind of wasn't recommendable. So, that's my thoughts on that. But no, I didn't test it. Long story still long. I didn't test it. Um, uh, Alrighty. I'm not even going to try to read your name, but good to see you. Glad that you're here saying hi, good afternoon. Good to see you. Getting question here saying, what settings should I use to prevent audio to video lag? So I just covered lag. There are no settings that is like in the camera that deals with lag. Either your computer isn't strong enough or you've introduced something new to your system that has some kind of delay. Sometimes microphones can have them. Sometimes, like I just like to talk about this capture card. Sometimes those can have sometimes a small delay. If that's the only thing. But yeah, you need to see about, is it the computer that's overworking? Maybe you don't have enough RAM, strong enough processor or something like that for all of the tools and the systems that you're running. And that may be the thing, because sometimes if here's the most common setup that most people have. They'll have an Ecamm Live, maybe if they're using, maybe they'll have an Ecamm Live. Maybe they're using a Canon thingy or whatever. They're probably running Zoom. They have about 7 Google Chrome tabs open. Could be about 2, 3, 5, 17 different Safari ones open. And then from there, they got whatever programs, several documents, hell, who knows what else kind of stuff running for their stream setup. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. Is your computer strong enough to handle that? If the answer is no, it doesn't matter, because you're introducing too many things sometimes at once to figure out where the problem is. Or regardless, your computer is not strong enough to run all the things that you're trying to run. Every software, even sometimes hardware, especially has requirements to use it. Now, when you introduce these different things, it's not like, it just stays base and everything meets the requirement. Every new introduction of a software tool is adding more that your computer has to process. Even if it meets all those requirements, when you add those up, is your computer strong enough? And a lot of times for some people, the answer is no. So you're saying you're using, what is the setting on the Canon T71? You mean the T7? So it T7 or the 70, like which camera is it? Because now you got me confused. It's audio video lag. Again, like I said, I just addressed it, so it's not a camera thing. Indikil saying, hello, just got the Sony a6400 for my birthday. Well, happy belated birthday to you. Congrats on your new purchase. And got the Elgato Cam Link. I'm using it for streaming and videos. Well, congrats to you. And again, happy belated birthday. So everybody tell Indikils happy birthday. I would sing to you, but I'm not paid enough by my company to sing. All right. No, just kidding. Beards and Banjo saying, I saw that multicam. How do you do that? So if we go into Ecamm, so this is now what I'm seeing on my end. So here's your comment and all of that. What I'm doing is up here, I have, which for most people, they have it at the bottom. I just kind of move mine's up here and out the way. This is the Cam Link one. This would be the horrible FaceTime camera that's pointing into the ceiling for whatever reason. And then this is the USB camera is what it's listed as, but that's that cheapo capture card. So you're usually seeing the mainstream function here. If I hit this plus symbol, and I don't have the picture-in-picture feature on, which is this little bubble right here, which changes things, then you'll see the side-by-side. And even if I want to throw in the FaceTime, then that's a thing with that, as far as having it all of these different ways or whatever. But just to do the side-by-side, I'm just hitting that plus button to include this. Whereas if I had the picture-in-picture on, but I hit this again, now you're seeing this is a tall version that I have for the other framing, but I don't want that. So I would turn that off. And now you see it go side by side. But that's using, this is using Ecamm Live specifically for my live stream so that I could show that for today. But yeah, that's what I use. We have K-Walk Comedy in the house saying hello and happy Friday. Hello and happy Friday to you as well. Alrighty, so let's see here. Saying I'm definitely a multitasker. Multitasker will close all other apps. Yeah, it's like you got to see What all is like, your computer is starting to work a bit when those fans kick in, if you're depending on how what you have. But if you have like a Chromebook or something like that, something that's really just built for if you want to watch some Netflix, watch some YouTube videos, or do some homework for school, maybe kind of a stuff, you aren't doing any kind of graphics processing stuff, then it'll cover you for those basic functions, which is kind of what those are built for. Like if you want a laptop that is something, it puts you in the mindset kind of like having a bigger tablet, but with a keyboard and all the functionalities of a computer, but still kind of like tablet E, then that's kind of what those, computers are. But if you have that and now you're needing to introduce it to other stuff, sometimes the best investment that you can make is in a better computer, not necessarily like in a better camera or the settings or the lenses or anything like that. Because if your computer is the bottleneck in your system fails. So I need 73 different tabs open because, and literally not that many, but I'm not proud to say I'm in the higher double digits sometimes. But it's like if I'm cross working stuff, pulling something from different things, kind of stuff going on that actually requires me to have multiple things open. I don't have time for my computer to be getting in the way for me, so I had to upgrade the computer, and I've done that quite a few times. Probably bought like 4 or 5 different computers over the course of the last couple years, just because one crashed and went out, another one crashed and went out. Had another PC that was when I was with PC, and then got a older Apple computer that worked fine. But then I also realized, which that older 2013 MacBook Pro did far better than the best PC that I had bought. It wasn't even about the same price. It would cost way more. So I had spent about a couple grand on that. So, that's why it's like the whole Mac versus PC thing. I don't care who does the job and who works. And I saw the older 2013 MacBook Pro ran more efficiently and worked better, produced content better, render videos out faster. Even with the older computer just running like Filmora, did way better. So upgraded that this year again to the 2016 MacBook Pros, made sure the specs are a little bit better for sure for video. And that's the best investment that I made. The cameras and stuff is extra, but when it comes to really investing in your business or what you're doing, if you invest in a computer that can process everything, you more or less can handle lag and any other issues and things like that may be introduced with your gear and equipment that you're using. Mari's Music saying, hello, good to see you, Mari's Music, glad that you are here. T7i. Okay, so nothing real special about that camera. There's no lag with it or whatever the case is. The camera's going to be fine, more or less. I'm not sure if that's on Canon's website. It's one of their more recent ones. I think that one came out with the 70 to 70, was it the M6, 77D, and the T7i came out around about the same time at NAB 2017, I believe. So nothing really wrong with the camera. Let's see here, Canon USA. I've gone to this website so many times it just knows. Here it is. So let's go over and let's see if your camera is on the list. So, all right. So this is the cameras that they have. So we got the 70, 77D, T7i. So that's here, but it has 2 asterisks next to it. So USB not included with the camera. Okay, so that just means in your box, if you bought it brand new, then it wouldn't have had anything. But the fact that it's included with the Canon utility app, if you're finding with a capture card that's not working for you, at least you have the Canon utility app, which I'll drop this link in the chat for you, and you can go there and grab it and test it out for yourself if that's helpful. But if it's not working out for you with a capture card or something like that, which I don't think that camera has clean HDMI out, so that's more or less what you're using. You just need to see and start with the setup. That includes the software, that webcam utility software, your microphone, and open up just whatever you're using that you would stream to, Skype or whatever base something that you're using. and then see if you have lag with that. Close, not just reduce down to one tab. Close the internet browsers completely, because Google Chrome is a resource hog all by itself. Close everything else. Don't have anything running in the background, and just see if you're getting lag with that. Start introducing one thing at a time and wait like a minute or two and test it again. It just kind of maybe keep a recording if you're using QuickTime or something. If you're on Mac, maybe test that. But introduce those things. So maybe you have a limit. Maybe you can't have 7 or 10 different Google Chrome tabs open. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe even 3 is the max before your computer starts introducing lag, because it's processing slower and it can't handle all of what you're doing. So check with that, or maybe you need to preload whatever web browsers that you need before you live stream, and then see about that there. But that's what I would say. Beards and Banjo saying, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge and answering our questions. My pleasure. Always a pleasure. And K-Walk Comedy saying, let's see if I can be civil. No mention of dark chocolate. Well, I tell you what, if you call in for the live chat today, I will hang up on you. No, just kidding. No worries. It is all an equal eating chocolate opportunity around these parts. Indikil saying, have you seen the NVIDIA broadcaster to get a blurry background? No, I have not. I will have to Google that. Let me pull it up and let me see what is what with that. NVIDIA Shields, the NVIDIA graphics card. I'm a fan of NVIDIA. That's a brand that I don't have to use like often or really buy stuff specifically, but that's like a brand that when I see it, I pretty much trust that it's going to work. So I'm curious. Was it broadcaster? It's not a pro, but that's like their equipment and stuff like that. And it's an app. Okay, interesting. So let's take a look at this. Thank you for sharing that. So let us go over to the interwebs. I hate that they do this gamer black screen with like, this is like, can I just read it normally white screen? So it's like almost a dark mode, but that's their branding. So what have you. So microphone source, noise removal. So I think somebody else mentioned this before, or something similar about reducing noise in audios and stuff like that. So that's interesting. Might download that and test that out. Virtual background. Remove the background of your webcam feed and replace it with game. Oh, okay. I wonder, you probably would need to still have a green screen though. Got a video. Let's go ahead and take a look, see at the video. All right, so.
And you should definitely learn the call-outs for each.
So if you guys are listening, I can barely understand that advice he's giving me, and I'm staying stuck in silver. And what I need to do is turn on the NVIDIA broadcast app, and let's try that again one more time.
Make sure you work on your aim. I always recommend to stand still when you're shooting, and you should definitely learn the call-outs for each map.
Oh, okay. So streaming folks, you have been redeemed. Because let me tell you, the interviews that I'll get on sometime, and it's like sometimes the noise and whatnot, it gets a little distracting. So that's interesting.
Thank you so much, Jay. Appreciate it.
Okay, so is he going to test it? Okay, so you don't need a green screen. So I'm glad we're watching the video. We're learning.
Replace the background altogether.
Oh, wait a minute.
From
Shut your mouth.
And everything in between.
Hold on. Wait. We got to scroll back. Let's scroll back. I'm getting excited.
There's some really exciting video features as well. Let's take a look. First up, we have the ability to blur your background, which you may notice that I need because I have a very cluttered and messy room. But when I turn this background blur feature on, all of a sudden I get this really classy effect. And I can adjust the strength of that from low to high and everything in between. Or, if I want, I can actually replace the background altogether.
Listen now. Shut your mouth. All right, listen. If y'all see me out here in these streets, okay, looking like we are underwater, singing Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid, just mind your business on the next live stream. I like that. Thanks for sharing that, Indikills. That is awesome. I like. Okay, let's watch a little bit more of the video and get back to the questions.
Now I'm in a space station with the magic of AI. It's that easy. Or, if I want to jump into some gameplay, I can remove the background altogether and jump into some balance.
Listen.
And now I'm playing with a green screen effect.
Listen. Okay, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, I'm going to drop this in the chat, the link for it in the chat, so y'all can take this and take a look at it if that's something that you're into. I don't know if this is for download the app, so let's open that in a new tab. Let's see if this is for Mac or PC only. I'm gonna be mad if it's PC only. That ain't right. System requirements. Windows. Dang. All right. So at least. Well, if you are a Windows user, you get amazingness.com with this technology here. But that's cool. That's cool. Dang, man, it's not right. It's just not right. Okay, you have amazing quality things, and then it's only for Mac only. So, or not Mac only, but PC only. So if you go to download now, then it would download it. But that's, it's not gonna work for me. It's a setup guide if you need all that. All right, we're not gonna go through all of that stuff, but that's interesting. So that starting to use some of that computational photography, which is why you're seeing multiple lenses on phones and stuff like that. So if we take a look at, which is iPhone 11, Google Pixel 5, and so you see like they're having like these multiple cameras on there, starting to use what's called computational photography, and so the computer and the cameras are working together to give you seamless video connection feeds, which is why you're able to see on the phones having a blurry background even though you don't have a green screen. So it looks like they've been able to take that technology, put that into a desktop application to use whatever camera, from a web camera to your regular camera. I would imagine the better light that you have and the better camera quality that you have. So even if you're using a web camera, make sure it's clean, make sure you don't have any fingerprints or smudges on there. And then you would be able to get better quality so that the outline is better. Because if you notice, he's not having any challenges when we go back over to the video. His outline is pretty clean around the chair, even around his hair. So let's go back to where he is up here. And so you notice like some parts, like if it's just like a strand of hair maybe, but it's doing a pretty good cutout, even from like he's partly over the chair, partly over the whatever. That's really interesting, and that's very, very neat. So that's using some of that computational photography stuff, and you notice that like if you look in that bottom right hand corner over here, he's going to lift his hand up. I'm going to play that real quick because I just want you to see that introducing something and how quickly it's gathering that. That's interesting.
Now I'm in a space station with the magic of AI. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Or
so you notice how good that was as far as like catching it and it not being some of the unblurred background or some of the, so they're using that computational photography technology. So that's awesome. So thanks for sharing that, Indikil. So if you are a Windows user, you are blessed this day. So that's awesome. Usually you need a green screen for that kind of stuff. So let's see here. All right, let me go back, scroll back up to the chat, and let me catch up. All right, saying PC, you're on PC, or wait, that is for PC, what we were just talking about, but that was, so I just bought, I just bought an old MacBook Pro, 16 gigabytes of RAM that moves a lot faster than the MacBook. Oh yeah, if you're coming from like a MacBook Air to a MacBook Pro, and like at least that baseline having 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then you can have a video graphics card. People that are into the gaming space, light years ahead of time for as far as the internals and technology and what we're just now seeing on some base level computers. So yeah, but let's see here. Justin Henderson is calling. All right, Justin, I see you in the background. I'm going to grab a couple more questions. I'll bring you on. So I'll ask you for the thumbs up when you are ready. Saying, loving my Mac Mini with 32 gigabytes of RAM. Yeah, I thought about getting a Mac Mini. I still kind of am, so I'm curious. Saying thanks for answering. I'm still listening. Okay, cool beans. Glad. Saying you're going to get us put in timeout. Yeah, y'all dark chocolate lovers misbehaving in the chat. Saying, what is your Cash App? I think it's like a donation link for like PayPal or something. I don't even remember what my Cash App is, but you can send it there. I think it's in like the paypal.me. Let me see what that is actually. I don't remember, but it's like whatever it is, the paypal.me. And I think it's just my name or something like that if you really want to, but you don't have to, which I appreciate, but you can give a super chat if nothing else. But yeah, so I don't remember. Saying, Miss D, I need a new book. What's popping? What category? What genre? Let me know. And I have plenty of recommendations, more than what you see in the office and whatnot. So I'm going to go and grab Justin. Justin, you ready? Give me the thumbs up. Oh, See, I wasn't ready. My bad. I'm going to give you the thumbs up. Okay, so bring you on in 3, 2, 1. Good to see you. How are you?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Can you hear me good?
We can.
Okay, wonderful. So you got to excuse my wire here. I was playing around with that little USB that you showed, the capture card, the cheap one. Yeah. The only thing I hate is that I'm gonna tell you my question in a second. The only thing I hate is that the piece that comes from the actual iPhone to your HDMI port, it's a little been able to put out 4K from the iPhone or your Filmic Pro, but this bottle, which doesn't make a difference anyway because the USB is 1080. The USB capture card only does 1080. Okay. But my question was this: it's about this Ecamm Live interview.
Yeah.
Does this work with Zoom? Because I tried to interview somebody with Zoom and they said that they couldn't hear the people in Zoom. The people could hear them, but they couldn't hear them. And maybe it was because they didn't indicate the mic or what. Do you know what it was?
So if you're trying to use, which is not something I've done personally, just because I have rare occasion to really use Zoom. But if you are, let's say you're doing an interview, you call in just like you're doing, let's say we're doing a training and it's being hosted through Zoom. What we would do at that point is introduce this camera feed, like the share camera. So you want them to have their audio. They don't need to be on Zoom and on the training unless they got the training window in the background somewhere. But if they're join live via Ecamm, you can share that feed so that you're still seeing all the same Ecamm stuff, but over in the Zoom window. So let me pull this up and let me see if I could demonstrate this real quick. But yeah, you can use that share camera feature or the share camera app so that you could do that, and that's how that would work. So let me just start up a random meeting, and then I could show you what that looks like. Let's see here. But yeah, that's what you would want to do for that. So that way you have that. So let me pull this up. I'm trying to run 2 systems at once real quick. All right. So that we don't get double feeds, I'm going to do for Ecamm, I'm going to share the screen there. Let me pull that down. So I'm just organizing my screens and stuff. All right. So what we would do, let me get Ecamm back up. Okay, so let me start video here. Matter of fact, I probably should have did that before. Let me pull this back up. All right, so I'm going to share my screen for Ecamm so everybody can see what I'm actually doing. All right, so now y'all seeing, or you're seeing what I would see, so basically what you should see. So if me and Justin we're doing the interview and we're doing a training class to Zoom, this is the Zoom feed. The reason why it looks all muted is because, again, the feed that's coming out of there is S-Log2. What I want to do is go down here to the video function, and instead of that being just my actual camera only, if I want to introduce Ecamm, I don't want to do the virtual camera because it's still going to show share the same thing. I would want to go over here to share screen, and I either want to share this software, share the desktop, or I would really want to do the Ecamm Live sharing. That's what you would want. Share the computer sound and all of that stuff. You can share to optimize the video, and then click share that way. And then that way, what they're seeing now, or what would be seen in Zoom, which is weird because it's sharing the whole setup or whatever, would be that. So that way they're seeing in Zoom, or would be that kind of stuff. So this is me small over here just so I can see my stuff, but you have to do something like that specifically. Like I'm sharing the screen, sharing the whole Ecamm stuff, so I could do that. Or you can go up here, you can use the virtual camera if that is already your camera source, and that's okay. But when you go to this Ecamm Live share screen thing, you can do the window sharing. You can do just the beta, which is what I'm running. So you'd want to select for you, because I don't think you're doing beta. So for you and what's your use case,
I'm doing the beta actually.
Okay. All right, cool. Then good. So if you don't have beta, then don't worry about that for those that are watching. But if for you, Justin, specifically, you click on the Ecamm Live beta, hit share, and then what everybody is seeing in Zoom, which I can't duplicate to show the Zoom window because it's capturing it, but this Ecamm Live window over here is what they would see. All the stuff that we bring in. So if we go to a different screen, we're using any of the different scenes from like the camera clips, all that stuff, they're now seeing that. Or if it's just the interview, that's literally what they're seeing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, audio went out for a minute. So let me shut some of this stuff down. So let me end that in the meeting, and then I will we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. So let me stop demo mode. So yeah, so when you go, you want to click the share screen, not change your camera source, but go to the share screen so that you're sharing that main preview window, like what people on YouTube are seeing now, just the basic full image. You're not seeing the behind the scenes stuff unless you want to show them that. But if it's just for interview only, have them join via that Ecamm Live join link. And then your job at that point, so that the Zoom people see it, is click share in Zoom, but share where it says Ecamm Live Beta. Click that. Make sure you have the button checked so the audio, and then they can now see that full screen in Zoom and stuff like that. So I'd run a test with it first, just so you can get comfortable with doing it, because it sounded probably clunkier than it actually is in real life. But only because I'm streaming and doing that kind of a deal. But that's what I would suggest for that.
Thank you.
Sure thing. You have any other questions or anything?
No, I think that's it. I'll put it in the chat if something else comes up.
Okie dokie. Well, I appreciate you hopping on, and have a great and fantastic weekend. All right, take care.
All right, y'all do the same.
All right, bye. Alrighty, and so we got Kathy in the chat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to block you. Block you. Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. No, just kidding.
That is wrong, because I just came on.
Lord.
It's all about love and support. I'm in quarantine now.
Are you? Is that
yes.
what the government said for you to be in
14 days is up to
quarantine, or how does that work? Good to see you, Kathy. I'm glad that you're here.
I really appreciate you and the advice and the information you get and give rather, and it's just very informative. So if I make my dark chocolate remarks,
we'll forgive you. It's okay. It's all in love. I understand. I appreciate that.
It inspired you to come up with that overlay, so it's all good.
Okay.
Hey, listen, I do a show, kind of a live show with my brother, and he kind of comes in screen. I have not been using, I actually use the Ecamm virtual camera,
Okay.
but I have not used, I just downloaded the beta, and I'm not quite comfortable with it yet.
Okay.
But I'm just wondering, would it eliminate, for some reason, the picture, even though my brother is using he doesn't even have an Apple, he's just using the camera from his computer. He gets a sharper picture than me, and I always wind up looking all whited out. And I don't know. I have a screenshot if I could show you.
Sure.
Because we had a guest on, and
Okay.
I'm like, how can I not have? I mean, I've got the soft lights, I got the DSLR camera, and yet I can't seem to get the and again, just see that picture. And I look all white and faded out. It's kind of crazy.
So you're overexposed. You're overexposed. Okay. So that means
too much light.
Yeah, you got too much going on. So if you are, if you're overexposed, how did that go to that? So let me go back to. All right. So it must be from that other one. That's the guest only. But so when you have that, what happens is that in the settings, and let me share my window, so I don't know what you'd see, but so everybody else can see at home. When you go over to
I'm trying to look at the camera, so I'm not seeing my screens.
Okay, got you. Okay, so when you go over here, so this is using the actually, let me go to just me being on the full screen for a second. Let me take that off. All right, so now let's go to this camera over here, because this one's a little overexposed. So I'm gonna move this out the way. So if you look up here at this window it's not that bright. It's just the angle. The camera is trying to focus on me, make sure I'm properly exposed. and the window. If I wanted to better like that, I would have a light on myself, and whatever is white, let that be exposed. Well, kind of be exposed for that, and put light on myself, basically, so the camera's not struggling. This is what you're seeing. Like, instead of the window, it's you that's super overexposed. And this could be for anything. So if I go back to my main camera specifically, I can have this one where it's extremely overexposed, and that's more or less probably what you were seeing, is you being like super bright and super white. This is an overexposed image, so like my skin looks weird, really weird. So if you bring down that brightness to something that is more of a normal, so the desk, like you saw before, is just turns into heaven. And we don't want that. We want to bring it down so that we're more evenly exposed. Actually, I can turn this off now because y'all have seen as much as you're going to see. Let's go to, so when you bring in yourself, so even like your shirt, for right now, if I'm looking at your shirt, you're slightly bright. So you can go into the camera effects window in eCam. You can do this in the basic one too. And you can bring your brightness down a little bit so that you're not, if you notice for whatever day, maybe you're next to a window or something like that, you can bring that brightness down some or adjust your lighting a little bit. But that's what I would suggest when it comes to that, just to make sure, that you're getting a good image from the camera. Maybe check the settings, because if it's just mimicking what it's showing, then just check the settings and make sure your camera is not showing that you're overexposed or something. But yeah, if nothing else,
playing with those pictures. I'm taking a look at them now, because sometimes just looking at the screen on eCam or just looking at my camera, things look fine. But then I go and look at the playback, and I'm like, wow, why am I so?
Well, the other thing is that your microphone is in focus, but you're not in focus.
Oh.
So we can see that microphone super clear, like Rode, brought to you by Rode.com. Right. So if you, I don't know
what. Not sponsored.
Exactly, because otherwise cut me a check. So, so if you look at your, like what camera are you using, real quick?
M50.
Okay.
Canon M50.
In the top left corner of your camera, do you see AF on the screen, or do you see MF, like autofocus or manual focus, on the actual camera screen?
Oh, I think I had it at manual focus.
That's
because
why.
When I did autofocus, I was getting the little white box every couple seconds, and it was it was giving me that little white box. So I think I had decided at manual.
If you're using eCam and you're using USB, you don't have to worry about the white box. It's okay. Because if you're seeing the other settings on the screen, you don't have to worry about that. That was only a problem if you were connected via HDMI, because you needed to turn everything off, including the autofocus box, so that it wouldn't have to be seen, so you can try to get around some of that stuff. But if you're using eCam, you're connected via USB, and you're letting eCam do that work of picking up the camera feed, you can turn your autofocus back on and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I had the cam link, and I haven't been using it because I was having trouble. Like, I do better using eCam Live and just going straight into with the utility, just going straight in with the USB cord. But when I had cam link, it seems like I was cutting off, or it was
every 30 minutes. That's a typical Canon thing. So that's why you needed to buy
a battery power. I'm running on
it doesn't matter.
Plugged into a dummy.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't have a dummy battery.
I didn't tell you that. I've never said that on this channel. So I don't know who you're listening to. Unsubscribe from them. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that started floating around for whatever reason. That was not true. So it doesn't matter if you're connected to a power adapter or something like that. You still are running into those same challenges, because it's based on the HDMI port and the software that Canon was running. It had nothing to do with the power to the camera. People thought their camera was turning off at 30 minutes, like the whole camera shut down. It's like, no, you tap the little shutter button or press something on the camera, it would wake back up. That's why you needed a camera that had clean HDMI, unless you're using some kind of USB option like eCam or some of the other solutions that like other brands for their specific cameras came out with. So you can turn your autofocus back on. You'll be fine.
So I can turn and I won't get the white box back.
Yes.
Now, so I wouldn't need anything like one of those black magic boxes.
No, you don't need anything. Nope.
Because that's why I thought my cam link, wasn't working, and And meanwhile, it took me so long to get this thing, to get it at a reasonable price.
I told y'all if
And
you got
now,
a Mac and use Ecamm, or the Canon utility came out eventually, but yeah, so turn your autofocus back on. You're fine.
okay.
And probably
Oh,
bring your turn down your ISO a little bit in your camera as well, because I mean, Ecamm will help you if you need that extra little bit, but I would say try to get it as best as you can out of the camera first, and then you can use the Ecamm camera effects to kind of help you along the way if you need to.
okay.
But go
So,
ahead and turn your autofocus on.
okay, so that isn't changing because I'm bringing guests or more people onto the screen.
Nope.
No, no, it's all in the settings.
Yes.
And this is why we value
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much.
I'm
And
glad to be of
I'm not saying a
service.
word. I might even have to go eat some white chocolate now and get over myself.
Oh, it is quite. You know what? If you like dark chocolate, then I like that you like it. Everybody needs a little joy these days out here in these streets. But I'm glad to
I
be of
tell you.
service. And if you need any further help, hit me up on Instagram, and just take a picture of the back of your camera, and I can tell you exactly what to change if you need any more help after that.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Well, you have a wonderful day and a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye. Well, my good people, that is what it is like to join the live stream. We have a lot of fun, so I'm glad to have Justin and have Kathy on there. Let's go into some more questions, because I am pretty sure I am missing quite a bit. I'm halfway through the chat. Let's see here. Saying yes, because the audio to the video lag is even before I go to Zooms or webcasts. So yeah, just check your settings, not your settings, but check what you're adding. Every new layer is like a new link in the chain. If we have 10 links in the chain, it could be link number 9 that's the problem, like whatever the 9th thing is that you added, or it could be the second thing. And now it seems like everything is screwing up and you kind of don't know where to go. So like a layers on a cake, if you will, just check and see if you're noticing before you open anything up, you're having some lag. Check your computer now to see if the camera is just kind of having some hard times. So I understand. How about those lint dark? I don't care if it is from the mountains of Fuji, if they have found dark chocolate upon the precipice of the whatever. It may not even be the right word to use that. However, I just don't like the flavor of dark chocolate. It does not sit well with me. It don't taste right. It don't taste right. White chocolate, however, tastes like it was brought down from heaven. The angels are singing and serenading us. It is a little sweet. It's a lot of sweet, actually. I can't eat it as much as I talk about it, but yeah. But it's all right. It's if you like it, you like it. So. So Indy Kills was talking about the NVIDIA thing, is saying it works well. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So y'all can take Indy Kills at his word in that it works. So if you want to check that NVIDIA thing that we were showing earlier with the video, check that out. Saying JFK Productions on ES, it's like 15 to 20 frames lag. That's how much I got a nudge before it syncs. Pretty sure it's the software issue, because my PC is pretty powerful. Okay, so i7, okay, all the 32 gigabytes of RAM, DR4, yeah, NVIDIA RT26, yeah. So all those specs is enough where you're right. Your computer is strong enough. If it is introducing lag with the tool, then you're just kind of trying to work with that. So, Miss Eileen saying hello, beautiful people. Good to see you, Miss Eileen. Glad that you are here. Tachi saying, how dare they not include Matt? I'm telling you, that NVIDIA thing, I'm a little jealous. I'm a lot of jealous. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm pretty jealous. If you're just joining the live stream, we watched the video earlier about the NVIDIA Shield. Not the NVIDIA Shield, but the people who did the NVIDIA Shield. They introduced this NVIDIA broadcast. So if you want to, let's do copy video URL, and I'm gonna drop that in the chat. I dropped in the chat earlier the link so you can watch or download the app if you want, and I'll repost that in the chat. So, because I'm sure I'm probably quite behind in the chat. If you're just joining, the links are now there. But yeah, man, it's like if you, I don't know, whatever. You can scroll back and watch what we saw or watch the video, but it's freaking amazing. But it's Windows only, and I think they probably primarily do Windows only, and that is most unfortunate. So, well, it is what it is. But let me go. Let's see here. Holy cow, I do see this popped up saying $25 Burritos. Thanks for all your suggestions. I got the A6400 with the cam link, and I'm very pleased. Well, I'm glad for you. I'm glad to hear that. Thanks so much. I appreciate the super chat, giving from your home to mine. So that's greatly appreciated. Man, that's amazing. Thank you. But I'm glad that the camera and the setup and stuff worked out for you. If you have more questions, I'm most active on Instagram. So you can hit me up in the DMs if you have any questions. There's a full video though, which is it's a beast to get through, but it'll walk you through every menu on the A6400 to set it up for video. That's all the stuff that I use. JFK saying PC is better. That's why I said what I said. You know what? You all are welcome to love PC if you want to. I've never bought a PC that didn't break within a couple years. And as much money as I've dumped into PC over the years, I am just not willing to do it any longer. Plus, it's like if I was to do anything PC-wise, I would try my hand at building a PC myself. Only frustrations that I will also introduce for myself is when something goes wrong or a component goes wrong, tinkering and playing around with that, which in my personal time I would probably have fun with, but because I don't prefer to use my personal time tinkering with stuff like that, it just would be money well wasted in my opinion. So Harjeep's good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying, I'm 16 years old, love filmmaking. Any tips for us young filmmakers and how to prove our ability to compensate for the negative connotations of our age gives off? You know what? I love that question. And congrats to you for calling yourself a filmmaker. Sometimes that's the biggest hurdle that a lot of people have is actually calling yourself what it is, the profession that you're doing. Because sometimes people say, oh, I just kind of, make some videos sometimes, instead of saying, no, I'm a filmmaker. Your professionalism has nothing to do with your age, because in the grand scheme of things, for a lot of stuff that I've done, I can speak to this from a personal aspect, from speaking in front of people, with people, working with people. Most of my clients are older than me, in a lot of respects more successful than I am in different regards, and do a lot of different things. But the value comes in your knowledge and your expertise and your professionalism in how you work your business. And then also, like, the quality of your work does speak to that. But those things can speak for you far in advance of your age. The only time age becomes a problem is if, one, you're making age the problem, that whatever it is that you believe about yourself in almost anything will always come out in your work or in your saying. So even if you're pitching something to a client and you're quoting the price, if you don't believe and you're kind of scared, like, oh man, that's the most I ever charged for somebody, and you're feeling that nervousness, even if you read the script over the phone, that still comes out. So you want to make sure you're projecting that kind of an energy as well. But when it comes to like the earning it, like, make sure whatever the price is that you set for any work that you're doing, your systems can work for you. I'm going to go to a YouTube channel. His name is Levi something. I don't know his name. I'm about to call him Lenny Kravitz. That's not it. But Levi does some amazing work, and you can take his system that he uses. He used the website Squarespace so that you're able to set that up. Let me see if I can find his channel real quick. And then I want to show you a video that he did, because I think if you adjust your systems, let your systems and how excited and how well you speak about your work and understanding your customers' pain points be the only conversation on the table. The only thing where age becomes a problem, whether you're too old, too young, or whatever, is, again, like, you got to project that out. If you ever have somebody this is kind of one of those things where even if somebody's ready to pay me today for video marketing consulting and this and that or whatever, is if they have this kind of spirit of disrespect. If you are willing to disrespect me, you're not going to value anything that I tell you. If you say, oh, you're just a woman, or you're so young, you probably don't know anything about whatever. The first time, that is one of those things where it is not a 3 strikes or out. It is a 1 strike and you are done kind of a deal with me. If I get any of that from you in a conversation or via an email, I'm taking it away now. Okay, here's the offer. Everything is about an offer and acceptance. If somebody offers you disrespect, you got to receive that for the disrespect to hit. You know what I'm saying? So if you out there and the content that you're producing is good, your work speaks for you, and you're at the point where, because you shouldn't be, your work should speak for you. You shouldn't have to negotiate price. Whatever your price is, stand on it. I don't offer discounts. Coaching doesn't go on sale. So when Black Friday comes up, ain't no emails going out saying, hey, coaching is now discounted by $500. Never. I've never discounted my coaching. I've never discounted a product or any service or anything that I've sold. It's never on sale. In that regard, because your fees, like when I'm doing a shoot for clients and stuff like that, it never goes on sale. There is no discounts in regards to that. I'm gonna see if I can find this video by Levi real quick. But the thing is, though, if you ever get to that point, you're in an email communication, you're on the phone, you're person to person with somebody, and you're talking about what it requires to do the shoot, age shouldn't be an issue. The only thing that's talked about is the work. If they ever say something in regards to a disrespect, project is closed. You know what? I'm actually discovering that at this time, I actually don't have time to take on this project. Or, you know what? It doesn't seem like we're gonna be a great fit. So instead of wasting your time or mine, what I'm gonna do is I'll actually see if one of my colleagues can work better with you, then I will. And this is not a play. This is not some kind of like, oh, I'm just trying to be strong-willed. No, I'm very serious. You can double the price at that point. It's like, no, I'm serious. I want to work with you. That's okay. I no longer want to work with you. That's the thing. I even have within my business where it's a do not rehire list. If I've hired you once and somewhere along that process, we've encountered some challenges with some stuff, something came up afterwards that I didn't see, I do a very strict process of hiring coaching clients before I take them on, or when I'm working with video consulting clients, if I'm doing some kind of work for them. If it's a do not rehire list. Let me catch some shadiness on the back end or something like that. We'll finish this project and we will never work together again. I am no longer available to that person. Take that same approach in the work that you're doing, because your age does not speak to the professionalism that you have. It does experience-wise, but you don't have the amount of years. But there are some people that are 20 years in the game of doing something that they've done, and they still suck. So that has nothing to do with it. You can still take the advantage of being who you are, be fully present in who you are, and just know that you are not, in a most respectful way, you're not going to take crap from people. So it's times where I'll tell somebody, you know what, I really don't think we're going to be a great fit, in covering the details of the project. I just don't think it'll work. If they ask why, because I don't think it's a great fit. There are some things that I'm noticing that it wouldn't work well. But what I can do is refer you to a colleague of mine or refer you to some people and see if somebody's able to pull that out. But, it's been great talking with you. It's been great connecting with you. And hopefully things are well with you. I chat with you later. End of conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on that. Here it is. So Levi Allen. Goodness me. Finally video came up, so I guess I'm subscribed to too many people. So Levi does video filmmaking work, and what he does is, I'm gonna go to search. He did a video talking about I bet you're not doing this. I'm just gonna type doing this and see what comes up, because he has a video showing his process of working with clients. I think this will be something that will kind of help you. Where you have, because he has a ton of videos, but if nothing else, I would say, because he hasn't produced a video in a minute, but if nothing else, where age is sometimes a problem, let your experience and your professionalism and your expertise and your systems do some heavy lifting for you for that. And I don't know, man, it's I'm trying to find this video so bad because it's at the top of my mind. So but yeah, so I would say just check this. It's back here when he had long hair, something about him working with clients. But he went through that process. But Levi Allen's channel is amazing, extremely helpful. But yeah, I'll see if I can find it later, but I can't find it right now, and I'll drop it in the chat and show you that if I can find it a little bit later. But that's what I would say to all of that, which is a big issue for me. Like respect, I'm all for respect. And if somebody doesn't respect you, then they're not working with. So let's see here. Let me scroll down. Okay. Just scrolling, trying to catch up. So it looks like the mic is in focus more. Oh yeah, so y'all saw that also when Kathy was on, saying, let's see here. All right, scrolling. Saying, oh, I'm Justin, by the way. Faith House. So that was Justin. Okay, hiding behind a different logo. Alrighty, so cool beans. Man, a lot of chat in here. So say it, Miss D. She needed to buy a Sony, the dummy battery. Her talk was about that, the Canon R series and Sony Alphas. Okay, so yeah, I couldn't figure out something. And I watch a lot of different people's content when it comes to something, or just trying to see and source where that's coming from. But it's like that was one thing that was coming up mid-pandemic stuff, when stuff was just hitting, and people were like, oh, just use an AC adapter. And I'm like, that doesn't change the internal software and firmware the camera's running on. So, that's the thing. So to the last question that I had just answered, this is the video. So I'm going to share this. Copy link address. So this is the one where he was talking about his system and process for filmmaking. I highly recommend Levi's channel, and specifically that video, because if you're talking about doing any kind of filmmaking work and stuff like that, the way he does proposals is extremely valuable, I think, if you're in the filmmaking space. And then, again, he recommends Squarespace for doing that, for the simplicity. But yeah, so that's the thing. So to Fit by Adeline, good to see you. Or A.D. Lynn, Adeline, A.D. Lynn, I don't know. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Sounds okay in theory, Doc Rock, but I have a terrific head of gray hair because the worst white balance issues for me recording Filmic Pro, base iPhone 11 Pro Max. Okay. Saying, yes, cameras hate white cloth and stripes. Yeah, it's like, depending on your camera, basically what they're talking about is like when you're talking about moire, which is like if you're having a bunch of striped materials, those patterns and the pattern of the sensor, it gets kind of technical. It starts to mesh kind of, and you start to notice that. But if you have anything white, you need to, especially if you have a window behind you kind of a thing, I would need to, if that was the angle, if that's what I had to do, I would expose for the window, then light myself, and then let the light expose me properly so that both are equally seen. And that at least for like white shirts and stuff like that, you're not running into any kind of issues. I understand. I love you, girl. White chocolate is great too. I don't think I've had that before. Or did I? Yes, I did. I got a bar for Christmas. And I got 2 just amazing bars, huge bars of white chocolate. Not for Christmas, for my birthday. I don't know why I'm saying Christmas, but they were delicious. Dates and times for you live streaming from YouTube. So it's usually Friday about noon. You just have to have notifications on, and that is the way I roll. It's like, because it's not, I would say it's like, oh, every noon and Friday. Sometimes I honestly don't feel like it, and I'm tired as hell, and I need that break more than anything else. So I can't say every Friday, every day at noon. Sometimes something happens. I get into a meeting. The meeting runs over. It needs to be at, like today, 12:20, close to 12:30, or whatever. Sometimes it's earlier. But about noon, somewhere there about Central Standard Time on a Friday. But we usually do it every Friday, just about. And K-Walk Company saying, yes, just put the autofocus back on. And even though the box is on the screen, it's not on eCam. Yep. So you won't have that problem. Holy moly, we got another super to chat from I'm Uplifting, Motivating, Inspiring. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. And another super chat from K-Walk Company. Thank you, Kathy. Saying thank you for all you do. Appreciate your help. And that you provide so much helpful information to guide those of us learning and making our way through on our journey. Continue living with passion. I appreciate that, Kathy. I really do. So thank you, both of you, for the super chat. Much obliged. Eco Blue saying, I do the same. If I get certain negative vibe, I smile and back down. Yeah, it's just like, as far as the working with people, if they can't respect you, then how are we working together? This firing somebody is an equal opportunity. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care if every news station in the world just featured you, the #1 story or whatever. I will not work with you if you cannot respect me, because I'm going to respect my clients and the people I'm associated with. I'm going to respect y'all in the community. I expect the same thing. Ain't nobody draws more important than the next person's. We all got to wear them and put them on the same way. So it's like, if it can't be respect, or if you're down talking, another thing for me personally, And I saw this bad last year in 2019 in like the nonprofit sectors and stuff like that. He's like, oh, you millennials, this and that or whatever. That's a good way for me to get up and walk out. And not like disrespect, but that's one way. It's like, once I leave, I'm not coming back. It's like, or there's like, the meeting is closed, meeting is over with, or you know, it's not a great fit. It's my go-to line. It's not a great fit. And then sometimes if somebody honestly doesn't qualify, you know, they're asking me to do something I'm not comfortable with doing, or it's not a kind of type of work that I do, you know, it's not a good fit for that as well. And that's honest response either way. But yeah, if you get a negative vibe with somebody, I'm out. It's not worth it. You know, it's not worth, there is no amount of money worth just being disrespected at all. There's no amount of money worth, or, you know, somebody shouting you out or whatever. It's not worth it. Respect is something that's earned equally from everybody, no matter what age that they are. And even if you're older, that doesn't guarantee you respect. That guarantees that I'm gonna be more conscious about it. But even if you're younger, I respect my nieces and nephews. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm going to respect you. I demand respect as well. And if we're working together, especially because stuff gets weird when money gets in the way, for some people, if I get that vibe, initially, it's not a good fit, because it's honestly not. We are not on the same page when it comes to honoring, one another. Shammy, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying, hey, Diana, you had mentioned, about the problems of the ZV-1 streaming. I'm sorry I was not able to understand it properly. Can you explain it once more? Because it's the first time with me getting a cam. Said it's going to be my first camera, so I'm a little skeptical getting a full-fledged camera with lens, which I don't understand. So here's the thing with cameras. Any of them can be put pretty much into an automatic setting and do the same stuff that your phone does. But when you are investing in a camera, most people are investing in it because they want it to look with the blurry background and sharpness and be able to do all the different things that somebody wants to do. However, with the ZV-1, when it comes to live streaming, the way I explain this to people is that the ZV-1 can live stream, but that doesn't mean that that's a camera that I recommend solely for live streaming. Because when I'm connecting either camera up, I want to be able to take the battery out and run it off of wall adapters or something. So if you have the ZV-1, maybe you're a family, vloggers or something, and you're doing occasional live streams, for as long as I'm running my cameras, I accidentally left my A6400 on for probably like it wound up being like closer to 48 hours before I actually turned it off. Stayed on overnight and all that. I completely forgot. Camera is fine. It's not hot. It didn't overheat. And it worked fine continuing as I started the next new day, which was yesterday. The ZV-1 is not a camera I would want to put under that kind of pressure. Doesn't mean it can't handle it, but I'm powering it off of the USB. These cameras have USB power as well. But if you're seriously buying a camera for live streaming, I would say actually buy an actual camera. Just because it can live stream, even though it's a point and shoot camera, that's nice. That's for the occasional live stream, you know, kind of a deal. You cannot buy a power adapter and really normally use it and all the other features because you only have a limited amount of ports. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to work well. So it's nothing wrong with the camera. I still recommend the camera depending on the use case. But if you need a camera to sit on the tripod and actually work, if you just need it to run in auto, it's auto settings on the camera that you can use and just turn the dial to the little green A for auto or the P for program auto on the camera. Camera's in auto. I could turn either of these on auto, and no matter what comes in or out, the camera would deal with it. But that's what I would say. Even if the camera's going to live on the tripod, get a camera that at least is like an A6100, at least the M50 Mark II kind of a deal, so that if you wanted to do something more, and it's just only for live streaming, it's built a little bit better to handle that, simply because the tripod mount and the thread is shared. I don't have the picture anymore to share that example, but yeah, it's just like the tripod mount that you screw it in to have it on the tripod, and the actual battery door is built into one another. You're not going to have the door open and just have the cable dangling. It's not going to work. So that's why I was saying it not really being used as a full-time live streaming camera. I wouldn't use it that way. JFK saying, any suggestions on a good wide-angle lens for the Canon T6? The best Canon wide-angle lens is mostly going to be there. If you just want cheap and wide, you're looking at their Canon 10 to 18 is what would work for that. If you're looking for pretty much anything else, you're looking for a prime lens that's a wide angle, which can tend to cost, if you want a wide and blurry background, then those cost. But the 10 to 18, and I'll pull that up real quick on Amazon. What is playing? Hold up. All right, so the video started playing. Got it. All right, so real quick, I'm going to go over to show you this. And we're going to wrap up. So 10 to 18, not this. It's just you see it 284, whatever this stuff comes in here. 299, you can find it cheaper, 210 here. This is the Canon 10 to 18. It will fit that DSLR, the T7 that you have. It is an f4.5, so it's not a blurry background, which generally with wide-angle lenses, these are built so that everything is more or less in focus. And so that's going to be the purpose and the use case behind this kind of a lens. If you want a blurry background, then you're looking for a prime lens that's like a 10 or 12 millimeters or even a 14 millimeter lens, but an f2. I don't even know if they would have something around that. So let's do EFS. Let's try 12. That's a good one. Let's see f2. See something thereabout. So that's a manual focus lens, so you actually gotta make sure you're in focus. Actually gotta make sure you're whatever. Manual focus lenses are a dime a dozen. You can find those everywhere. Samyang, yeah, 12 f2.8. Then I mean it's okay, but it's not really worth it at that point. Tokina 11 to 16. These focus kind of loud, but you know, you get down to an 11, but an f2. And that will fit your camera, so you can kind of play around with that. Rokinon 12 millimeter f2. Again, you're manually focusing it for your camera yourself. This is the one that goes for like the M50 cameras, so that's not what I would recommend. But yeah, you can kind of play around with that depending on the focal length that you need if you wanted a blurry background, but otherwise 10 to 18. All right, Shantiva saying peace be unto you and to you. New channel, quick question: how do I live stream with my 2018 MacBook Pro that don't have a USB hub, and I have a Sony V1 camera? Our first question: are you using Ecamm Live? That is easily solved with a basic USB cable plugged into your camera, plug it into the computer. End of story. However, you need an adapter or something like that. Both of mine are plugged in. I guess that one's kind of plugged in. Let me see. Now y'all gonna make me move and get up. So. Got to take my feet down off my cushion. 1 second. All right. Now I got to put my feet back up. So this kind of a deal here. This is what you would use if you have those USB-C ports. You want something that lets you turn this USB-C. It goes into one connection, okay, USB-C, but it works and it has all these other adapters and ports and stuff that you need on there so that you can still have access. The camera, the second camera that I'm running over here, this is running off of one of those. And so this camera is running off of one of those. And so these little adapters work fine. So that you still have more ports and stuff like that. So even if it is a regular USB, or you can get some that has the USB-C on there as well. These work fine. Just make sure it's like 5 giga. You know what? Let me just find one on Amazon and then I'll I'll just link you to it, right? Let's be a little helpful out here in these streets. So let me go and let's see here. All right, so let's go Amazon. I'll find you one and I'll throw it in the chat for you. How about that? And then I can keep answering questions because, as per always, it's never 1 hour on the stream. Even though I try to make it so, it never happens ever. But I'll find you one, and when I do, so that you don't have to just sit here and wait, then I'll throw that in the chat for you as well. Saying clean draws are more important. That's what I said earlier, or to what I was saying earlier, something I was saying. So I do have an adapter, but I heard that was bad. If your adapter doesn't have the right connectivity speeds and stuff like that, about the whole time that I've been streaming, even when I had an older MacBook Pro 2013 that had the ports, you don't have a choice. That's the thing. With the Mac switching to USB-C only, and some of these other brands going mostly to USB-C, we don't have a choice. You got to get an adapter to be able to have the functionality of all this other stuff, because everything that we use is not USB-C. But if you buy one that doesn't have the speeds, the connectivity speeds that you need, it's going to be a problem. So if you buy something that's too cheap and it's not working, then that's always going to be a problem. What is this one that I use by Anchor? So make sure it has the ports and the stuff that you need, but that it's also producing the speeds and stuff that you need as well. So like, this is the one that I'm using right now. And so if we look at this one, like, you got to come to some of these graphics and stuff like that. You'll see that it has USB 3.0 and not just the 2.0. And the difference being because of the speed, going from 480 megabits per second to 5,000, over 5,000. So that speed makes a difference. And so when you are looking at the USB ports and stuff like that, you can see right here it's telling you USB 3.0, USB 3.0. I get mine to have the SD cards and stuff in there as well, because when I'm editing videos, they also took away the SD ports on there. I don't have a choice. I need to get my footage off my cards, so I need to make sure those speeds are fast as well. So when you're also looking at these, if you need one, like if you're doing footage from your camera and all that, that stuff matters. So you need to make sure also, like you can see up here, that it says 4K 30 hertz, 1080p 60, and all that good stuff, nerdy talk. Basically, it's fast. You see that? It's at least 1080p 60, 4K 30 hertz. Like, I can do up to 4K and I'll be fine. So that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for. I'll drop a link to this in the chat, but this is the one that I'm using right now. I'm using some other one that's a no-name brand called Atola. That was also off Amazon. But as long as those specs are there, the rest kind of don't matter, because the thing is, it's like, if you got to do what you got to do. The hell what people say. It's like, you got to do what you got to do, you know? So I dropped that in the chat for you, and you can pick one of those up or something similar. Anchor is a good brand to use, though. Let's see here. Catching up. India saying, hey, Diana. Well, hello, India. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Welcome back another week. Is it Tana? Tana, good to see you. Then saying, hey, glad that you're here. K-Walk Comedy saying, I stream through the Mac Mini, and most ports are USB-C, but I worked with the CalDigit and Moken adapter for more ports. Yeah, it's so many brands. Like, even that other one that I had is like a no-name brand. As long as the speeds are there and the ports are USB 3.0 or USB-C, and you know the USB 3.0 because usually it's like a blue colored one. But just make sure it meets those specifications. I'm finna buy a bigger hub, because now I'm getting to the point I have too many devices, all these gosh darn phones and stuff. I need to test a lot of stuff. I need more than just my base level work was requiring. And so now I need this big old hub thing to kind of manage all that. I don't have a choice but to use USB-C, because that's all the ports that's on the camera. So it kind of puts you to have to get one. So I just want you to know I enjoy your videos, and I'm using a T5i 24mm and a 40mm Canon lens. Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad that the videos are serving you and helping you out. K-Walk Comedy saying, so now I can put my Sigma 16 lens on the M50 and keep that autofocus on. Game changed. Saying, glad I was able to confirm exactly what you're saying now. Okay, well, I'm glad to be of service, glad that it helped. So now you have your autofocus back enabled. My Castle Life saying, hey, my sister, good to see you, brother. Glad that you are here. Beards and Banjo saying the M50 Mark II specs were disappointing. What sub 1000 camera do you recommend for my first camera? So one thing about me, I never go price first, never, because oftentimes you can work within a budget. And here's the thing, honestly, we spend way more money on crap and stupid stuff that makes no money for us. I got like friends that'll buy like red bottom heels and whatever kind of jeans and a jacket or something. That's fine for, if that's the style and the clothes and they fit well and whatever that you like. But we'll spend way more money on stuff that don't matter. So that's why I'm kind of at a point where, especially for entrepreneurs, this is a business investment. It's tax deductible. You'll be okay. Spend the money. because if it's something that we really want, we make space for it. So it's not for you. It's just a little rant for everybody listening. But I never recommend based on price. I go based on the features that you need. So if you tell me what kind of a work that you're doing, like, are your videos going to be over 30 minutes? Are your videos, like, are you doing work where you maybe are documenting, capturing your own things that you're doing, like content? The reason why, so this camera was kind of sitting over here and I'm doing dual setups. It's not really for the stream per se, but if I want to run this camera and I want to record to it also, so I'm recording internally, these Sony cameras can do it. And so I can be sitting here listening to or having a conversation or doing a talk or chat. And so I can vlog and document, and I got 2 cameras. You don't need to, but you could. If I just had the one camera, I could put an SD card in there and record. So the same footage y'all see all the stuff that you're streaming, that I'm streaming out, but you also wouldn't see that it's recording internally. Or I could have a lapel under my shirt, all of that. So depending on what you need, if you want a lot of flexibility, Sony's the way to go. Unfortunately, Canon right now, either from overheating, a limitation of 30 minutes or less when it comes to that. Fuji is in that category as well. With sometimes they have 15 minutes. Some of the cameras overheat in 4K. Some challenges with that. I'm looking to try to get my hands on the Fuji XS10 and really test that out, or at least see some more videos to give me confidence to really recommend it. But honestly, if you need to get over 30 minutes, you want everything that I just said and more, A6400, if you don't need internal stabilization, it's mostly going to live on a tripod or something, then you can go with that. You need the stabilization, then now you're looking at something like the A6600. But at a base level, that's kind of where it's at. Every other camera, Fuji, Nikon, or otherwise, they all have something wrong with them for entrepreneurs. If you're vlogging, different category. If you're mostly just making home videos, you can get the ZV-1 and be happy. But that's my recommendation. Use the A6400 if you were thinking about an A6100. If you need that additional stabilization just to kind of help give a little bit more cushion to the lens stabilization, or if you want a Sigma 16 lens that doesn't have stabilization in it, now, at least the camera has something. So the A6600. But for entrepreneurs, those are 2 of the best cameras that you can use. I don't recommend any Panasonic cameras because none of them can autofocus. Even the Panasonic S5 that just came out, phenomenal video specs. None of that matters if you're out of focus. And so in my ownership of a lot of different cameras, these are probably like my 16th or 17th cameras that I've owned, tested, tried, and all of that. Canon's having challenges, so they're not recommendable to me at this point. Unless you just want it for something more specific, then, so be it, or it kind of meets it. But that's kind of where it's at. Full frame, if that matters to you, you're looking at something and you don't need a flip out screen. A7 III is fine. 30-minute record limit. You need something more than that. You're now looking at the Sony A7C. So those would be my general recommendation. You want the best camera in the market, which you obviously didn't say, but I'm going to throw it out there because I feel like talking about it. You want the best camera ever made at this point for prosumers, whatever, like, do everything camera, Sony A7S III. But right now, it's really hard to recommend, like I would love to, the Canon M50 Mark II. It's not just for the specs. It's really for what most people, and when I ask them the features that they need, it's not hitting it. It's not meeting. It's like, yeah, we keep running in 30 minutes, or yeah, we're launching a podcast at the beginning of the year. We're buying the equipment now. How long is your podcast? Are you doing 10 to 15 minute episodes? Maybe the raw content is at base level 20 minutes. It's like, then you can maybe work with it. You're not trying to do 4K. You're just doing 1080p. Maybe if that's what you want. But honestly, A6400, A6600, Sony A7C are the top 3 recommendations for entrepreneurs that tend to come from my business, like from people asking and emailing. So that's what I would say. Saying in regards to the ZV-1, I'm a Penga HDMI adapter, or I'm using the Penga HDMI adapter, and it works well. I had trouble with the USB connection at first going through Ecamm, but this Penga from B&H works. Oh yeah, those ran out, unfortunately. I was recommending those as well at the beginning because they were in stock and they did work well. So those were good. Those were definitely good. Shantiva saying thank you. My pleasure. glad to be of service. KY Coming saying, just go ahead and call it a 2-hour stream and don't beat yourself up. It's all value pack. Well, I just make space now. I used to have like 1 hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes cushion set to the side for these. And then they just kind of start growing. So I wouldn't doubt probably this time next year, we're into 3-4 hours just from people cycling in and cycling out of, work schedules and life. And I'm still here 3 hours later doing a live stream. And then Shanti was saying thank you to everyone. So all those, Doc Rock always keeping it up, Kathy keeping it up in the chat. I appreciate that. Saying I don't have a problem chatting up with other novice multimedia interested people. So anyone wanting to continue the dialogue, some with myself with respect to that and shared learned knowledge. Yeah, and that's one thing I've noticed that's interesting. Within you get these community streams going, and that's one of the things that I've been teaching in some of the summits and the trainings that I'm doing when I'm speaking at some of these events. Sometimes entrepreneurs can get lazy, and it's what about restream? What about if we want to stream to Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube? It's that's the problem. All of y'all are in the chat together. All of the people that are not engaging in the chat, that's fine also, but they can also see everybody's comments. So maybe somebody else was thinking the other question or wondering it. They didn't add it to the chat, but they're able to see it. If I got 12 people on LinkedIn, 5 people on Facebook, everybody else over here, the other people are getting left out because they're not a part of the community. So I'll talk about it on Instagram, but I'm not simulcasting to Instagram. I'll talk about it I need to actually do better with LinkedIn, but when it comes to there, I may post something every so often. But I'm not, it depends on the topic, the stuff like that. But the community aspect is something that, above all things, being able, it provides the best service as a whole, especially when it comes to these help casts and stuff like that. I could multi-stream to multiple places, but what does that do for y'all? And so I appreciate that y'all are connecting, making friends. You get just even getting used to seeing the same people or whatever in the chat. That's something that's important to me. So, I hope that is something that continues as these streams obviously get longer. Monique saying, I use that one too. It's great. So it must be for that Anchor adapter. So I'm glad to hear that. Yep, it's Tana. Okay, good. I'm glad to no, I didn't at least screw that name up. Okay. Saying, perhaps you can walk me through the YouTube streaming setup, as I am there now. I'm just waiting to get started. Honestly, when it comes to a YouTube setup, it's very simple because you just need a camera and you need audio. Everything else is extra. Software tools is extra. The systems and stuff that I've created are extra. Those are systems that came afterwards. The base, if you go way back to the most uncomfortable days, Facebook just showed, because I used to stream on Facebook first. When I was first getting started 4 years ago. I am so embarrassed and I feel disrespected by the Facebook memories thing. It's hey, you did this video 4 years ago. You want to share it? Hell no, I don't want to share it. Let me tell y'all something. The light that was on an old brown bookshelf that I have was green. It was some cheapo thing, LED lights were not as good even a couple years ago and so it was giving off this green hue, and I didn't know it until I kind of put it on camera because I could tell. And I got man, when I say I'm just sitting here hey y'all, what y'all doing today? And I'm okay, maybe I can set it. I am live doing this, okay? And I'm just maybe is that good? Is that good? Nope, it's not. All right, let's try over here. What about that? Nope. All right. That was and I'm just looking and I'm just who is that? It is me. So as long as you ain't doing what I was doing, you're okay. You can use your phone if you want the better camera, or you can use the webcam, because I still have this camera and I'm hard pressed not to get rid of it just because it's just kind of part of the journey now. This Logitech C920, this is what I wind up using. This was one of the first investments that I made, other than a better phone eventually. But just Logitech C920 camera. I've had this for 4 years now because this is how I got started. The one that was on my computer wasn't that great at the time. And so these were available. So I picked one of these up and it did make the videos better. And so I learned to work with this. And people was man, you got your camera hooked in? No, because the next thing I invested in was lights. So it's just little bit by little bit, step by step. little thing built on the next little thing. So you don't have to do all this, bring in comments, whatever. This is nice, but this was built up over time. I don't take 4 years to do all this, but start with a basic camera, and that you know how to work it at least, or put it in auto. Make sure you have a good microphone. So if you got kids screaming or somebody throwing a diaper at another kid's head, you're not hearing that on the live stream. So it's just basic. And then see what's one thing that you can do to make your live streaming setup better. If you want to go all out and buy the Bee's Knees Hall of Fame stuff, I have go to dyna.link/Amazon, and I have my Amazon store stuff. So all the stuff that I buy on Amazon, far as like for the gear that I'm using and stuff like that, you can buy the same thing that I'm using if that's what you want to use. But I'll probably create one after the stream is over, because I need to update this and change some stuff. But this is the stuff that I use. Like this is what I was saying, like my current setup, the things that I'm using: a smartphone content creation kit. If you're just getting started with one, recommended Canon M50 setup still includes all the same stuff. So if I go to any of this stuff that I'm using, actually I'm not going to get that, so I'm gonna delete that. And so like the USB cables that connect to HDMI that you would plug in the capture card, that's that. These are the diffuse softbox light stuff that I use, that's that. The lapel mics that I use, that's that. That's the memory card that I use. I actually bought what is this? I don't think I got the 256. Yeah, I got a 128. Same thing. I got it. You know, I actually buy and use what I'm saying that I'm using. LED light kit, that's that. The Cam Link, I still use because I actually use it. Excuse me. But I would suggest I'm going to test. I'm going to need to do a side-by-side comparison, and I'll make that a video. I don't have all the stuff that I need to test everything yet, but I'm going to do a comparison between the Cam Link and that $20 one. This $128. I want to punch a duck. I'm just saying. That's expensive. If you can get the same thing for $20 or $15. The lens. That lens, it's right here. I use it. I used it for interviews this week. I only replaced it with the Sigma 16 because I know the color shift between that lens more than this one, to compare it with this other one to make sure the lens isn't changing the color. That's a little bit more advanced nerdy stuff, but like all this stuff, I use what I actually use. I think this is the A6400. Yeah, you're looking at it. So all that is what I actually use. That's actually what I buy. People say I want X, Y, and Z. Maybe you replace the camera. Maybe now you replace the capture card, but that's it. I learned the hard way. People say something straight out of camera, but it's really not straight out of the camera or straight out of the box. There are some things that when you know about video that you notice, and those slight changes make a huge difference. I do my darndest to make sure when I'm teaching you guys something or I'm sharing with you, I say exactly what I changed. So if I brought the brightness down a little bit, adjusted the exposure, or if I adjusted saying, oh, that's a little different, well, let me just change that. That stuff that we do, those little tinkerings, actually impacts the video quality. For the most part, yeah, it may be straight out of the box or straight out of the camera without anything adjusted, but those slight tweaks and things do make a difference. From when you pull it out the box, you didn't do those little tweaks. You may not know to do them. So I try to share exactly what I do when I'm sharing something, but the live streaming setup, and I thought today to share like a breakdown video of what I use and how I use it and all of that. But it's this USB mic, my camera, that light kit by Viltrox, and Ecamm Live. And that's it. You swap the 16 millimeter Sony lens and get it the one by Sigma if you want a blurrier background. But it literally is. Other than today, because I'm testing S-Log 2 with a LUT and adjusting the colors to test that for today, most other streams that you see are the standard picture profile and the white balance set, and that is it. So I try to keep my stuff simple. I want you to, like what you see, you can actually do it yourself and get a good quality image as well. So let's see here. Okay. Shanti was saying, I won't use the ZV-1 for streaming because it does overheat, but my sister has the M50 and the Sigma lens she'd need from streaming. You mentioned a website. So if you are going to use, the only time I really, like if you're a Mac user and you use the Canon M50s or something, or a similar camera that really doesn't have clean HDMI out, then use the Ecamm Live software. By far the best thing, even if you just are using like the virtual camera or whatever. But then too, you have a live streaming service. So, all of that. However, the ZV-1, in my experience, it doesn't overheat. And I'm not saying that like nobody pays me. I need to get Sony to pay me. I need Canon to pay me. Like send me a check, PO box number. You know what I'm saying? So, but when it comes to the ZV-1, I tested it in here for running it for close to 2 hours. Didn't overheat. I took it on a shoot that I did. It was like a surprise wedding engagement thing. I took the A6400 and the ZV-1. It was like 60-70% humidity here in St. Louis, and it was also sitting in direct sunlight, and it recorded straight, sitting like that for about 40 to 45 minutes or something, because I had the before stuff, I had the actual content, and then I had, by the time I remembered to go and pick the camera up, and I did check it specifically to see if it overheated. So I'm telling you, as humid and as hot as the ZV-1 is, it didn't overheat. So that's not a concern I honestly have when it comes to that camera. It's just because it's not, if I'm going to be heavily using it, I wouldn't use it. The M50 was a camera that I used for live streaming because I had it. I wanted to see like how much can I actually do with a camera that more or less is just used for basic stuff, So it's like, if you had this, what all could I do with it? Birth and Ergo comes out now, the M50 series and all the other content around it, because it's like, if you have it, here's what's possible. So that's all that is. The ZV-1 has a lot of the same possibilities and then some, and it actually has clean HDMI out. You can use it for live stream and you'll be fine. Even if you're doing a once a week stream, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're fine. My only thing is that I would not personally buy that camera solely for live streaming. That's my thing. But if you have it and you need to do some live streams, you can use it just fine. It'll work fine. So if you get a cheap cam link or knockoffs, it will time out after 30 minutes. Go back about 30 minutes into the stream. I was on, we talked about it. Oh, I was talking about the M50s. Okay, so y'all talking in the chat. Cool beans. All right, let me catch up. Saying missed it earlier. Oh, Alan, if you missed the stream, you got to go. We're kicking you off. Everybody say bye to Alan. We're blocking him from he's late. No, I'm just kidding. Watch the replay. I give you a thumbs up, of course. It's good to see you. Glad that you're here. And welcome for whatever time you join the stream. Betty Lou, good to see you. Oh, hold on now. What's this dessert? What is that? We got a chocolate souffle. What's going on here in that profile picture? Betty Lou, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying Sony A6400 is awesome. Keep an eye out on Amazon for used ones from like Amazon Warehouse. Took me a month or so of monitoring, but I finally picked one up for $850. KH is also great for used gear. Yeah, it's a lot of great places when it comes to gear. Like if you need, and yeah, before I do this, because sometimes I go down a rabbit hole that we didn't need to go down. If you want to know my favorite websites that I go to find some of the best used gear and equipment when it comes to camera stuff for entrepreneurs, let me know. And we will go through that. Otherwise, I'm not digging a rabbit hole for us to go down. But yes, that is true. I'm glad you found one. All right. So, David Guitar saying, I love Fuji, but it's a photographer's camera. The video limits, meh. If I did a live stream, I would definitely get a Sony. Yeah, that's the only thing. Fuji makes brilliant cameras. Panasonic makes brilliant cameras. But when it comes to here's the interesting thing. There's not been one person that has, like, they'll ask me a recommendation saying, hey, I saw this channel, or this channel recommend this, and then you're saying something else. Why is that different or whatever? And I'm like, because even though, yes, I'm covering camera tech and stuff, it is from the perspective of an entrepreneur. You can vlog if you want to, but you can do all these other similar things. However, what is the primary function from like that channel? What's the use case? What's the full-time use case? I actually do the stuff that I suggest or say in this, particular setup. It works or it doesn't, or it falls flat here or there. So Fuji cameras, you'll see a lot about the Fuji X-T30, the X-T200, the X-T3, and the Fuji X-T4, and now the Fuji X-S10. All of those are good cameras, but they are not the best cameras for entrepreneurs. They're good cameras overall, mostly for photography. If you want to do some video, for sure, I would never recommend any of them, save the potentially XS10 maybe for entrepreneurs for video. Those 30-minute limits, because it's, again, like you said, a photographer's camera is not really for video. And so there's not been one person that comes back a couple months later or 30 days later after they can't send it back anymore. It's like, so I didn't go off your recommendation. I actually bought this and now I have it and I'm running into these problems. How do I do that? And my answer is it can't, because it's not like I'm right or wrong. It's like I'm trying to provide you a recommendation, not just only based off what I use, what I've tested, tried, and what actually works to do the job. I just shared a post like that on Instagram. It's like, none of these brands are special enough for me to use it, and it's causing problems in my efficiency and my system to run my company. It's not worth it. There's no brand affinity that I have that's worth it. So yeah, it's like right now it's Sony, not because I use it, it's because it's what works. you know. So let's see here. Saying Facebook Memories wants to make sure you remember where you came from. Facebook Memories is trying to embarrass the hell. Mark Zuckerberg know exactly what the hell he is doing. Every single time. Like, let's go. Like, no, don't share that one. Let's find the worst one. And that's what we're going to share today. I wonder if I could find that on Facebook. But my gosh, I didn't share it because they want you to share all those memory stuff. Hell no, I'm not sharing that stuff. It's embarrassing to me to even watch. But you show right, if you are needing a little bit of humble pie, go to your Facebook memories and see what it produces for you for that day. Kathy saying, between this weekly live stream and Pat Flynn's income stream, I really like the community that YouTube builds. I learned so much chatting with others. I agree. That's awesome. Saying, I learned the Camlink lesson hard. Thank you. Because at the beginning of the pandemic, you advised against spending crazy money for Camlink, $400 price gouging. Yeah, it was crazy. And saying, before the $129 Camlink, I found a $29 item worked just as well as Amazon. And now using that in M50, don't even need it. Yeah, you could probably sell it. Somebody's definitely wanting it. So I've also got some great deals to avoid price gouging on Facebook Marketplace. Oh, yeah. Facebook was disgusting. Facebook Marketplace was absolutely disgusting. That was the most hurtful thing, is to get those messages. And I go online, and I was reporting every listing that I saw that was for price gouging and reporting it just that, because people was getting desperate. They needed to run their business, and it was definitely like life or death of the company for a lot of people, because you had to be prepared and ready and stuff like that. And, nobody had a need to be. So it was unfortunate, but thankfully now I think everything is kind of evened out equipment wise, and whatever people did buy, they're kind of finding the proper replacements for. But I hate it for anybody that even bought it if it was $1 too much more than what it was. Saying I always check Facebook Marketplace for anything I'm looking to buy first. And I just got the LG 4K 27 monitor for $280, brand new, and it goes for $430. That is a great deal for sure. Holy moly, we got a super to chat also from India. Thank you so much. Saying, always love your content. Got to show you love. Thank you for your contribution to the community. Still waiting on you to release an academy. So I was talking today with a mentor. I'm working some things out, so to see about how soon that can come out with. But I don't want to release crap. I'll put it to you that way. And I don't want it to be just, because sometimes self-guided courses aren't helpful. Sometimes you need more interactive help. And so I need to make sure that everything is ironed out properly and it's done well. And not just trashy versus, hey, buy this $1,000 and 2-cent thing. And, it's just like, no. So if I release it, it'll be properly, but it probably won't be probably some academy or something, but it will be something that's more interactive, not just like, hey, buy the course, have fun and good luck to you, but something that kind of, again, that I can be present. At least I'm thinking, here's my thoughts. Let me share this with y'all. Here's my thoughts on a course academy or something like that for entrepreneurs around video for sure. And y'all welcome to share your thoughts on it. What I'm thinking is, whatever it is, yes, there's pre-recorded content that'll walk you through and show you how to do whatever the thing is, right? However, at least I'm thinking to only have it available for a certain amount of time, release it, and then that way, that time period that you're going through it, I'm there with you, able to help you with the customer questions and things like that, in addition to like not just like these weekly live streams, but like a group trainings where you can get, for whatever that week's lesson was, to get some help in your specific problems or questions and things like that. And then I also have to go based on my schedule for work and speaking engagements and things like that. A lot of incredible things coming up, but I'm not willing to put something out there and with a price tag and just, I want, if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it the right way. So Ecamm Live in the house. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. So y'all talking to Kathy. Glad that you're here. Saying, hey, India. So appreciate y'all checking, saying we always trying to glean some live streaming wisdom from Diana. We're excited. We happened to see what she was going live. Well, I appreciate y'all hopping on as well. That's amazing. I appreciate you guys for being here. So Shantivi, you're saying what kind of capture card? The one that I had showed earlier, I don't think I dropped it in the chat, but let me see. It's just it's the one I was testing for the second camera angle. That's I got for Prime Day, which is this that you're seeing, which is just the A6600, and the kit lens that's over here. You can see my ibuprofen is ready to be consumed. But so this is just this very basic, nothing special here. But this is on the $25 capture card. The only thing with this is that I did notice that the device introduces a little bit of lag, so I would need to play with that, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my main camera, so I would need to play around with that. But I'll show you which one it is, so if you want to pick that up that I'm using, you can test that one out. Because if you're just using one camera angle, you won't have these challenges, and I probably will find a solution to make these two work well together in adjusting for it, which is probably going to be something ridiculous, thinking to myself. But so this is one that's on sale right now, and this is not the exact one, like the brand or whatever. They all private label companies, but this one here is a little HD capture card. So this is the one I'm testing. So no, you're not streaming in 4K, but even if I wanted to share and make this camera be the one or whatever, I could change it within Ecamm to adjust for that little bit of delay. But this is that little $15 thing that you're seeing right here. I put my better lens on there to see like my 35 millimeter lens. I put the Sigma 16 millimeter lens. I put a couple different lenses that I own on there. Quality is fine. Looks fantastic. Only thing is that device is introducing a little bit of lag in the audio. I take that word back. A little bit of a delay in the audio. And so I need to test it to figure out what that is. When I'm able to do a comparison between the two, the Elgato and the other thing, then I'll test that out. But I'll drop a link in the chat, and so that you can have access to that. So if you want to check that out, you can on Amazon. But it's a steal of the deal. Freaking A. I'm like, Elgato, how dare you make all that money on? They probably are $1 billion company right now. With all that stuff. It's like, good grief. So let's see here. Let me go back through the chat. Saying after today, I'm going to have to renew my Ecamm subscription. It just went up in value. Oh yeah, since we got you sorted out earlier. Absolutely. I'm telling you, man, it's the bee's knees. This year, I'm thinking to do my own game show end of the year, like the bee's knees Hall of Fame. And there are some gears that didn't make it, okay? But there are a lot of gears and equipment that did. But I'm telling you, software tools for sure. And it's not just because they in the chat neither. I was an Ecamm fan long before they even knew who I was. Bee's Knees Hall of Fame, software live streaming for sure goes to Ecamm, because even when I tested doing 4K, like this stream could be in 4K, but there's no point in me doing all of that because you might be watching this on the toilet right now. I don't know. It's like, who knows? You can, it's like you literally could be doing anything or driving. And so most people, if they're driving and it's fluctuating, it might be 480p, 720p or whatever. Then if you're at home, then it may be at full 1080p or whatever. But I just didn't see the need for it, but it's possible. And like I said, the systems and efficiencies, even just to be able to create my own customized stuff and come over here and show y'all exactly what I'm talking about and all the things that I do. It's just like, yeah, it was worth converting to Mac for, at least to me. Oh, in the kills. What says, well, I'm back. Well, welcome back. Good. Glad to see you. Glad that you're here. Doc Rock saying, you can take a break now, Miss D. Enjoy your weekend and DM me the address for the coffee. Oh, yes. I never did that. I apologize. I will have to do that. Saying the Bee's Knees 10K show and giveaway. Yeah, so I'm compiling the list of all the things that I want to give away for the 10,000 10K giveaway. It is going to be a switch pod, so it's still a pack. This is not the one. This is the one I opened. So it's still going to be the switch pod that is new, unopened. It's still in the plastic, but I'm going to be giving a switch pod away. I do have another one of my Ecamm Live Pro annual subscriptions, so I'm going to be giving one of those away. But this is a switch pod. If you don't know what that is, just a little vlogging stick so you can kind of hold it out. And then the benefit of it is you can set it down, kind of has a little tripod there. It's a lot of fun. I've been using it more and more, just getting used to it. Depending on how you rig it up, you can make it heavier. It is a weapon. Okay, if you get into any trouble out here in these streets. They also sent me a ball head, their ball head that goes with it as well. Okay, that's the label. And then I added my own plate that I do for any of my cameras or tripods. But the ball head is really nice. I actually want to take this ball head and I'm probably going to replace my other tripod head thread mount. I'm thinking maybe, but I actually really like it though. But it's nice. It is well built and all of that. It's just, if you rig it up and you start adding stuff, it goes from being minimal and light to now you have made it heavy by adding a ton of stuff. But if you got a camera and you just kind of want to go sit it down, the tripod thread thing helps. That's the thing. So Ecamm Live subscription for Pro for 1 year. Switch pod, I'm giving one of these away that I'm sorry, Movo, if you're watching this, I will upload the review video at some point this sometime in life. Okay, I promise. But it has where this come down. It is XLR only. So you would need like an audio interface. So amazing mic though. So I'm giving this away. What else? I had some other stuff I think that I said I wanted to give away, but that's all I can think of right now. And then Google also sent me the Pixel Buds. I'm not giving these away. These are the beesknees.com. These also make it to the Hall of Fame. But that freaking Google Pixel phone, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'll think maybe I can get another Comic-a-Boom setup or something similar in and maybe give one of these away or whatever. But I'm trying to do it up a little bit. A little snazzy jazzy for the 10K giveaway. So yeah, that's what I'm interested in doing. So let's see here. Let me scroll back up. Say the quality does have a crisper look than the Camlink does have the crispier quality. So here's the deal. Different positions, different lens. I could take the lens off of, I literally could swap the cameras essentially and swap the lenses. The lenses affect quality, lighting affects the quality. It has nothing really to do with the Camlink, honestly, because when I put my Sigma on here, the only reason I got a kit lens is so I could zoom, and I'm not really trying to do anything special. And that was the last lens that I tested today. But I literally could swap, put the A6600 up here with that thing or switch the capture cards. It's the same thing because I did test it with this same setup and it looked fine. I'm just doing something different over here. But crispiness will not be impacted by the quality as far as what you're seeing over here versus what you're seeing over here. These are not the same worlds. Like this is a log footage, like for example, meaning that if I take, this is what the S-Log 2 looks like. There is some slight adjustments in the color still, but essentially this is the feed that you would see out of my camera directly. It's very gray. It's very muted. It has no real color definition to it for real, so that you can grade that footage. So when I add a LUT on and I adjust it with those color things, now you can see what that looks like. If I switch the capture card, it's going to look the same because the lens is the same, the camera's the same. All that device is doing is sharing the feed. So you don't have to worry about like your quality depleting. The bee's knees. Doc Rock saying my switch pod is in the mail. Well, that's awesome. It said switch pod is a great weapon. I tell you what, you put the ball head on that switch pod, and I was just sitting there. I was just like, man. Now, switch pod does not endorse or provide me anything for violence. I don't, whatever, all the stuff. You hit somebody across the head, that's your business, okay? However, all I'm saying is, if I'm out here vlogging in these streets and I have one of these, I feel comfortable and confident to use this for my personal protection. But it feels really nice, built well and all that stuff. It's very nice. I like it. Only thing for me with this though is like I often use something smaller. I'm used to using like these little Manfrotto Pixies. So if you look at it size wise, they are different, you know, size wise or whatever. And you can see you got a little bit more height on the switch pod for it to kind of fit that traditional vlogging thing. And sometimes I prefer something that is just enough for me to put it on the table. And so that's where this little Manfrotto Pixie comes into place, because all this is built to do is just sit on the table. And so again, like this has its limitations as well. But, you know, if I'm going lean and mean, small, I'm more or less going to grab the Manfrotto Pixie. If you're doing a traditional vlogging thing, you need that extra reach kind of a thing. You want a little weapons of mass destruction in your hand. You're well served still with this. But I guess it just depends on the use case as to what you go with and carry. But it's a great little tool. And like I said, it's very well built. The ball head, whole thing. Only thing why you'll see something different on mine is because I take and put my own plate, so I can click my camera on, take it off if I want to. And I do the same thing on the Manfrotto Pixie, because I ain't with all of this underneath. The same thing with the Fuji. I'm not doing this. Fuji, you doing this. And at the bottom, or with the other stuff, you twisting it. I ain't doing all that. You know? Rocky saying, I'm on my second switch pod, one for the camera and one for lights. Very interesting. I know some people like to use them for their live streaming setup. My desk is a little messy, a lot of messy right now. I tend to have one half like for writing, pondering and stuff like that. My computers are kind of like catacornered, and then I have like some books and then all the shelving stuff over here that you can see. All of this stuff is usually over here or whatever, because I want to grab something or whatever, then I kind of have that kind of setup. But the thing is, it's like these tables I need to replace. And I want something maybe like wood if I can or whatever, or just something, because they tend to shake or whatever. And so if I had the camera on the table for these, it would shake. So I'm looking for kind of a better table, honestly, or a bigger one. I don't know kind of how I want to do stuff because this office is small. So we'll see. And I for once exhausted the battery out of my Sony a6600. So that's a thing apparently, but I know it's been running since early this morning, so it's all good. Saying, holy, you got lots of donations. Yeah, you know what? Whatever somebody wants to give, I always appreciate it. So along with the ball head, I'm a super fan. That's awesome. Yeah, the switch pot, it is the bee's knees. All right, so Rocky, I skipped over there. Said, hi, Dana. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. I am doing well. So my first question is, do you agree that you have to be negative in order to be successful on YouTube? Channels like Drama Alert far more popular than positive channels. You know what? Some people are drama queens already by themselves, even if they're male. And no, I don't agree with that. I think people, if you're an attention-hungry individual, people are going to do that because it's the same thing they pretty much would do in real life, is create drama, whether it's whatever. And yes, what was it? Statistically, on social, they found something like to the effect of maybe, or to the tune of maybe 10 times more negative or falseful information will travel 10 times faster than positive something will. And there's a lot of psychological reasons with that or whatever. But no, if that's all your channel is built upon, you don't have firm legs and a firm foundation for your channel. If you're sincerely trying to build a channel around something, if I wanted to bash every other brand other than whatever I used at that moment, then you catch a lot of attention or a lot of, yeah, man, da-da-da-da-da. Who wants to be the leader of the angry pitchfork community? You know, it's just not it. So, no, I think people do that because people will subscribe, or if it's, hitting a common pain point at times. Sometimes like in the video game community, I follow a lot of those. Something comes out, people will just dig and dig and dig and dig. Just like people's like, man, I thought you like give Canon hell, like give them this, just like, yeah, I'll talk about it and I'll be honest about it, as I am with anything else. Something sucks, I don't like it, that's how I feel. But it's not just about me. Who am I serving? Again, either your content is self-serving or and self-centered, or it's centered around serving, right? So my stuff is centered around serving. I'm not trying to be self-serving. If I'm just being attention hungry, an attention whore, if you will, and that's all that I care about is the negative, 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 people aren't coming to you for a real reason. They just kind of come into the be with the grab your torch and pitchforks kind of stuff. That's not the vibe. So no, I don't think that channels may grow, but they'll never have substantial income. They'll never have a substantive business around it. They won't have the meat that's necessary and longevity to continue on and actually build a true community. So they may get a high level and high number, which you'll see subscribership jump or something like that if they're talking about something. After so long, people are going to get tired of that. They ain't trying to hear all that. And now they're just looking for the next newest thing to rag on. So no, I don't. And it's the same thing with people in general. Somebody may get a crowd of people around them while they talk about whatever. Even on the news, we'll see interview with this person that's whatever, talking about something. But after that dies, it dies. Now they have to look for something else. So whatever you're building your channel around, don't worry about trying to make your content be more negative. Because if I don't like something, I may say I don't like it. Like, main point, case in point, the what is it, the Yeti, those Blue Yeti Snowball. I hate those microphones. Some people love them. That's just my personal opinion. If you like it, you use it, go for it. There's really nothing wrong with it per se. I just don't like them. But I'll say that if I'm making a campaign about sharing negativity around that microphone, what's my justification for doing that? How is this actually serving people? It's not. If something was truly harming or something, then it's like, okay, I need to put everybody on notice that would buy this because this is something that's wrong or this is a huge problem. That's it. You know what I'm saying? If that was the case and we move on. If that's not the case, it's just like, yeah, I don't really like it, but it's cool. If you got it, good for you. If it's working for you, much success to you. And we still move on. So no, it's like build your channel around something that you actually want to talk about. You can actually build longevity and a community around. Don't try to fearmonger. And even if other people are initially getting, some success with it or numbers, that has nothing to do on how much money they are going to make. It has nothing to do on how their brand is received. Especially if you're talking about like for business, your brand's not going to be well received. How do you sit in conversations with other entrepreneurs if that's all you're doing? Nobody want to be around people like that. Rocky saying how to come up with an awesome channel name when a person does not have a unique name and wants to vlog. What name options do they need then for a personality-based channel? The thing is that, and I needed water in here, and all I got is coffee, but I'm okay with that. Here's the thing with a vlog channel. You really have to know if you are doing that for yourself. If I started a vlog channel, I want to document my experience dealing with X, me sharing X. There's no real rhyme or reason. If people are drawn to that, it's because they already know me and like me to some extent to either want to watch or because I'm covering topics around something that maybe occasionally catches their interest. But it's the same way with kind of like making friends. Okay, well, some people tend to draw more people or whatever, if that's the case. And then some don't, and some may be in between or whatever. It's the same deal. When you're talking about the name of the channel, has nothing to do with nothing other than either you're making it kind of weird and something that nobody is searching for. But like if a vlog channel is really just based off your personality and whatever it is that you want to talk about, honestly expect nobody to follow because it's literally about whatever you want to create. And that's fine if you're creating like a self-centered kind of content that you want to make. Don't expect people to fall in love with it for that reason. However, let's go back to this other channel that I was sharing earlier. This is Levi Allen. Levi is a filmmaker. He does adventure filmmaking, as you say. He live more adventures, tell better stories. That's his thing. But his channel, more or less, is around vlogging. Him sharing his experience living like kind of like a nomadic life. Him and his wife, they got rid of their place, built them a van, like a conversion van or whatever kind of a deal. And that's what they do. And because of the work that he does, being a filmmaker, him traveling, that's the kind of stuff that people are going to, and you come to like the kinds of things that he's talking about. But you also don't mind if like something here with his wife, just doing whatever, they're adapting their van to make space for their baby. So maybe you come because he primarily kind of talks about filmmaking stuff, but he's also sharing his own life experience and his journey kind of a stuff. This is kind of one of those channels, but there still is some kind of centering, not just around, if he only just talked about, well, we ate cereal today, we ate whatever, it don't matter what he called it. And he just called it his name. So literally just call it your name unless there's something specific. I'll show you another channel that I like to watch that kind of has a center, but still does that. It's called Living the Van Life. And that's the channel name because that is centered around things that people are interested in. So Living the Van Life is based on his, not just his vlogging experience, but he's actually living in a van, same kind of a deal, and living the van life kind of stuff. So he's sharing his experiences. But if you're interested in living, like selling everything, condensing down minimalism and going to be able to travel the world and just kind of live in a camper or whatever, you would watch that because you see like, oh man, my window is not sealed properly. So I got to find out what is wrong. How do I fix it and whatever? Because if that's something you're actually interested in, you want to know, if that happens to me, how do I deal with that? And this is literally for any niche. But if you're just talking about your day-to-day whatevers, nobody cares unless they learn to come to care about you. So the name doesn't matter. You can name it something specific to the general thesis of what you're going to be talking about it. If it's just around you and whatever you do in your life, you could call it your name. Or it's just something like that, a little bit of a hybrid, like mine is Diana Gladney, Entree Woman TV, vice versa, whatever. Same thing. This is my channel, my name. Entree Woman TV, made up word. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody's searching for it. But if somebody does at least search my name, that comes up. So either it's topic specific, if it's personality specific, just go with your name, but the name has nothing to do with nothing else there. Debut Guitar saying, I love this community that you're building. I look forward to when you get to 1 million plus subscribers and I get lost in the crowd. That's one thing I hope that people feeling like, oh man, I'll never get, like, that's why I make time to go through all the comments or whatever. At some point, I imagine it may become a little bit difficult, but that's one thing it's like I'm very concerned about, is making sure that everybody still gets heard or their concerns addressed or whatever. That's kind of how this started, especially at the beginning of the pandemic and people needing help. But even if it gets bigger, we'll still find a way to do that somehow. Zos TV saying, hello, good to see you. Glad that you're here. Holy cow, we got the super chat from Indy Kills saying pure character stretching his arms, or pair character stretching his arms forward, raising his thumb. So I guess it's a animated thing. Ecamm describes it to me. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Doc Rock also piggybacking on that, saying, build positivity. The world is full of a hot mess negativity. Shine in the darkness. Absolutely, I agree. Saying, me too. I hate the way the Yeti sounds. Rocky saying, why the biggest channels on YouTube has bad quality content like PewDiePie. All he does is react to videos, while Cody still doesn't get views, even though his videos are far bigger than. You know what? Here's the thing. How big a channel is, or whatever, like PewDiePie, he does gaming and all of that stuff. PewDiePie also has been on the platform for a long time. So like if we go to his channel, and then too, longevity has nothing to do with it, but it does speak to the kind of work that he's been putting in for a long time. So if we go to videos, and then we go to, let's go to sort by date added the oldest. 10 years he's been making content. 10 years he's been making content. There's other people that's been making content as well, and you can see from 10 years to 5 months, 9 years or whatever. He's been making content for a very long time. So even though like his personality, he also is mostly like into gaming and stuff like that. So young adults, some adults as well and stuff like that. But it's like kids watch, they consume. Subscribership has nothing to do with success. Nothing. Subscribership helps as far as like the numbers and how many subscribers that you have. That don't have. I quit my job when I didn't have what I have. I had to remember how many was had at that time when I quit my job last May. So even when you look at the numbers, I didn't have some substantial numbers. I had a business. And so it really don't matter about the numbers if you're happy with the community that you're building and your channel. Most people focus on numbers way too much. Way too much. Success has nothing to do with like the number of subscribers, or if people are consuming, YouTube is pushing it out. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a deal. So if kids are kids, that's the thing. His channel is mostly built around young adults or kids or whatever. Kids are assholes. Let's just be completely honest. Most of them, it's just like that video that's going viral around now. A little girl was trying to blow her birthday cake. That is so bad. But that little girl embodies most of what some of like preteens, teenagers, and kids are, like 8 to 12 years old sometimes. They're horrible little people. But at the same time, they're watching what they watch, or even if it's adults, that's fine. So what? His success has nothing to do with yours. You can have a very successful and profitable business even if you had 1,000 subscribers. What does it matter what somebody else is doing? So even like what YouTube pushes out or not, I don't care. And if we look at Cody Warner, which is who you're referring to, kind of a deal. Cody actually makes some great content and stuff like that. And you see he 691 videos, and he's got 62, almost like 63,000 subscribers. And you think he's any less happy every single time he makes a video? It means nothing. But every person has like that they're building some kind of a community. Unless you want to mimic like a PewDiePie and what they're doing, go for it. But if you want to mimic a Cody, go for it. There's not necessarily any right or wrong, but or rhyme or reason. But at the same time, Felix, the guy from PewDiePie, been on the platform for a long time. He's made a hell of a lot of videos. His personality or whatever he's doing, reaction videos and stuff like that, for the audience it's built for, attracts a lot of people. So what? It's like, so what? I just, that's one of the things I don't think that really matters when it comes to big channel or whatever. It's like, it is what it is. What difference do it make? That's my thing. Johnny DeCalla, good to see you. Glad you're here. Say success has nothing to do with subscribership. Yeah, man, it doesn't. That's just my thoughts on it. Personalities. That's just a thing. Like, who's the other one? Let's look at some other popular people. Let's go down this rabbit hole. We got Casey Neistat. So you got Casey. Casey got 12.2 million. And then we look at Mr. Peter McCormick. It's not his name. Peter McKinnon. Who's also not that long, but he has 5.5. Let's just call it like almost like 5 million subscribers. Peter's been on YouTube far longer than Casey has, and yet he hit 1 million far faster, and even 2 million far faster than Casey. Do you think either of them is celebrating each other any less or cares so much any more than that? No. It's like working next to the person next to you. They get paid more than me. Okay, and? Or you get paid more than them. And? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we just honestly have to buckle down and do the work. Stop blaming YouTube, and don't blame YouTube. You're on the platform for a reason. YouTube is free. It's free. It is free. They give you the ability to build a business and all this kind of stuff around content that you want to build. But does it matter what somebody else's subscribership has? It really doesn't. How many numbers, how many views, what does it matter? Because 1,000 qualified views is better than 100,000 people that maybe never do business with you. Sometimes you have to separate vanity metrics, which I say vanity metrics, but they're really not, because the measurements of them do matter to an extent. But you have to focus on the things that are worth focusing on, and really let the things go that are not worth focusing on when it comes to content. Mehmet, good to see you. Glad that you're here saying, hey, hello, I just came in now. Well, I'm getting ready to leave now. So it's too late, Mehmet. You missed it because we are close to 3 hours. Good Lord. We're leaving. Goodbye. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream today. May the Lord bless you and keep you always, and eat plenty of white chocolate. Y'all have a fantastic day. Take care. Bye.